of previously unauthorized outposts. This move, the most significant since the 1993 Oslo Accords, has drawn widespread international criticism. A Japanese high court has ruled that the country's refusal to legally recognize same-sex marriages is unconstitutional. This decision marks a significant victory for LGBTQ+ rights advocates in Japan. Russian drones have struck the Ukrainian port city of Odessa, injuring 3 people and causing fires. The attack underscores the ongoing challenges in reaching a truce between the two nations. Joseph Eckerson reports.
The drone strikes damaged infrastructure and set multiple buildings ablaze.
A federal court has blocked President Donald Trump's tariffs imposed on nearly all foreign nations, ruling them unlawful.
The court stated that the president does not have the authority to impose such tariffs unilaterally.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
We got a cup of coffee in here, please.
I think coffee would be nice.
Damn good coffee.
And
hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Gotta face all the zeros.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Bubbity bump.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Get out of my face. Come on, one more ba-bum, and we're out of this. One more ba-bum, ba-bum. There you go. Good morning, freaks, and I don't know, something else that begins with F. It's Friday. Speaking of freaks, it's Freaky Friday. Friday, May 30th, 2025. We've almost made it through another week. We've almost made it through another month. Well, it's incredible. It's incredible, I tell you. We have a show for you today, an unusual show. We have 3 guests lined up. First guest in the first hour, Nina Brooks, who's a film director, producer, screenwriter with her own production company. And I don't know why she is lowering herself to talk to lowlifes like us, or like me and my friends. Somebody said it was a pleasure talking with you and your friends. One of the guests, me and my friends. I'm not sure they really want to be known as my friends. But in the second hour, Amanda Cruel, who's a comedian out of Knoxville, Tennessee, in the Knoxville Courthouse, is my one of my trademark favorite cover songs to play, Hank Williams Jr. And then at 11 a.m., I almost say 11 p.m. I don't know. I can't say 11 without wanting to say p.m. At 11 a.m. Eastern time, Blind Mike, who I'm not sure is actually blind, will be here to try to make GD cry. Now, GD won't cry, despite what you saw on that little teaser this morning. GD, I don't know if you know this about GD, but GD will never, ever admit to being hurt, wounded, even in the least bit affected by any criticism like that. Now, I will tell you that every time somebody says something negative about what I do, it hurts. It hurts. And that's not going to make me cry. And it's not going to make Gigi's not going to cry. He's going to take his tears, turn them into a dagger, and shove them right up Blind Mike's Ray Charles glasses. You thought I was going to say ass, didn't you? But no, it hurts. And when somebody, not everybody's going to appreciate what you do. That's fine. But it's still, why don't you love me? It's in there a little bit. And you have to acknowledge that. I think I have to acknowledge that. Now, GD won't acknowledge that. So if you're tuning in to see GD cry, GD cry, and don't waste your time. It's not going to happen. Tune back in Monday, and you'll find out that it didn't happen. But it will be interesting if you don't know the saga. Here's the saga. Blind Mike apparently he co-hosts a show. First of all, he has the Blind Mike Project, which he is the host of. But then he co-hosts a show with Carl Hamburger from Who Are These Podcasts, Who Are These Garbage Podcasts, whatever you want to call it. And Carl is a guy who's been very critical of all of us. And he said some critical things about me, which I acknowledge was dead on accurate. And it hurt a little bit, but he's one guy. He's one guy. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it hurts a little bit. Even though I don't care about Carl Hamburger and his opinions, what he says about me, it doesn't feel good. I don't want to cry. Well, maybe I do want to cry. I don't know if you know this about me, but I do want to cry. So that will be at 11 o'clock today. We'll see how that goes. We'll be a little confrontational, hopefully good for ratings, hopefully good for little short clips that we can tease out there, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Last night, if you recall, I had been for about a month now scheduled to do a show that I didn't really want to do. And it turned out it was a band show. Then it was like an acoustic thing because the drummer couldn't make it and blah, 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 blah. And then it came down to yesterday. Bill bailed early in the morning. Bill Capozzi, formerly of the Rockin' 45s, he bailed on me. Do you mind if I? Yeah, go ahead. And then Scott. So I was going to do it by myself, and I didn't want to do it. I was thinking, blah, 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 blah. But then as the day went by, I contacted Matt Nussbaum, who is the producer of the show, who found out what showbiz is full of fucking nonsense. And people like me and people like you and flakes. And he just got tired of dealing with all the crap. But he said to me, "Why don't you just you'll be fine if you just do an acoustic solo." And then I started to get excited about it. This is the point I'm getting to. I wanted to do the gig. I'm in the shower. I'm touching up the old, just for men, for mustaches, whatever it is. But I'm getting excited about it because now it's occurring to me, I'm by myself. I could do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to worry about what he knows, what they know, who knows. I just have an acoustic guitar. The world is mine. I got an audience. I could plug the show. I could talk about GD crying this morning, get people to tune in. And then it's just about to get in the car for some reason. I look at my phone, and on a Facebook message, Matt Nussbaum is canceling the show because other people were giving him grief about it. Not because of me, which is unusual. So he canceled the show last minute. And then I was disappointed. I was actually disappointed. So I went from a month of regretting I ever said yes to this to really looking forward to this. This is going to be fun. This is an opportunity for me to not have to be worrying about the other band members or any of this stuff and just do my shtick. And I was excited about it, and it got canceled. So the point is, this power of positive thinking does not work for me. I am best off being negative. The power of negative thinking. If I was still not looking forward to the gig, it would have been on. If I was still just thinking it was going to be hell, it would have happened. But it didn't happen. And that's the story. So thanks for tuning into the power of negative thinking, how to not influence friends and win losers on your side, whatever. So no gig for me last night. No gig for you. No gig for you. Anyway, so I came home, and on the way home, There's a place called Poospatuck. And I stopped by to say, have you checked out blah, 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 Weed World? Weed World! And apparently, I think I was talking to Richie, who I interviewed last week, in the third person. I was telling him, you have to see this interview I did with Richie. I wasn't even, until I was driving home. Was that Richie? Well, I'm talking to him about himself. This is what happens when you have dementia. Well, he's not all that recognizable, to be honest with you. But I think I was telling Richie about when I interviewed Richie. So he probably thinks, man, we can't sell this guy any more weed. And then he sold me the white weed bear herbs. Now, this is lemon lights. Lemon lights. It's white weed. The white weed is for passengers loading and unloading only. And you can get white weed at Weed World, but you can also get accessories to spark up your white weed at the Daily High Club.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Yeah, that's right. What's going on? Oh, there. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are I can't wait to see GD cry Steven, the Hobblecom. The Hobblecom. It's like now I got Hobblecam, a Hobblecom. Also with us, because it's Friday, is the fabulous Stinky Foot Ron Kane, who also would love to see GD cry, but GD's not going to cry. And I will never cry for you, Argentina, BD Fenderson. Good morning. My Mike is going to be very jealous of me now.
Good morning, America. MyDogTV.com. Do you have a rabbit coon hanging around your house? Well, if it's hanging, it's probably already dead, and we know who killed it. GOP Animal Control. When you have a coon that needs killing, support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering. MyDogTV.com.
What's the matter? You couldn't find my contact info? I'm there. What do you need killing? Rabbits, though. I like rabbits.
It's a rabbit. No, it's a rabbit raccoon.
He wants it killed, not thrown off a roof.
Well, rabbits don't die if you throw them off the roof. They're like cats. They always land on them.
I'm saying.
Somehow. Good morning, Ron. Good to see you. It's been like almost 3 days now.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it?
Are you excited about seeing Blind Mike come on and to say why he doesn't love?
Yeah, I don't even know who you're talking about, and it's funny that anyone's excited about two no-name people squaring off.
Yeah, Blind Mike apparently.
No one knows us, or what is this? I don't even know. I don't even care.
Hey, the local police department in that city knows who GD is.
Blind Mike is more popular than I would have thought. He's been on that, the first date woman who's on Your Mother's House, Tom Segura's side piece that he introduced his wife to, and his wife is playing dumb like she doesn't know they're fucking. You know that girl, Lauren something with an H. Anyway, she's had Blind Mike on that first date with the blind guy, first blind date with Blind Mike or something, which is a pretty popular podcast. Not number 69 on Good Pods, but it's pretty popular. So I'm shocked that Mike is there. So we'll see. But he also does the he has What Are You Laughing At? I think is the name of it, that he does with Carl Hamburger. So you've been part of their criticism. They've bashed every single one of us, and Jackie. I think, I'm fine with them bashing me. I think they were accurate with bashing me.
Yeah. I mean, it was about a joke that was half finished. So, I mean, those who can, can, and those who can't, don't, or whatever.
I don't.
Exactly.
I didn't last night. I was gonna last night, but I didn't, and that's.
I did.
Sad. I was a show for a show that was a no-show. The show got canceled. I'm glad I didn't drive 3 hours or whatever, 2.5 hours, whatever it was. So so I'm a little disappointed. GD, you got up this morning? You ate your raw eggs. You jogged 5 miles. You GD's running now. GD gonna fly now. What did you do all that? Or?
No, I got up. I looked over a script before I sent it off to somebody who wanted to see it. And I found a bunch of typos, so I fixed the typos. Because in me working with Dylan, we made changes, and then making some of the changes in the beginning made some things different in the end, and so I had to connect everything because we didn't go through the whole script. We just went through like the first minute or two, and once
Dylan
I
will
made
fuck
those
with your end, definitely.
Yeah, fucked up once I changed the beginning, it fucked up the middle and some of the end, and so I had to go through and go through all that continuity crap before I sent it off this morning.
You don't be using big words on this program. Continuity crap.
You son of a bitch.
Continuity crap.
Stephen, don't you even start that shit. You yesterday just said how you use big words to piss off your first ex-wife.
Used to. I did. So, yeah.
Speaking of Brody,
you started using big words with us, like we were your first ex-wife.
Right. Yeah.
So you take your polysyllabic words and stick them up your rectum.
Well, to be fair, I think I talked to him the way his first ex-wife does or did. I mean, I'm sure she called him a joke thief, pedophile, fat Amish head.
But he wasn't doing comedy back then. He didn't start doing comedy until after she damaged him.
He was still stealing jokes. He was just
saving up like a squirrel, stealing nuts and putting them away for the winter. And then
I was sitting there watching Netflix, watching Netflix. Man, in like 7 years, these are going to be so good.
That's the kind of thing with, and I know you guys don't give a shit about that, but this guy Jocko, the guy who's been stealing music, he's stealing the most worthless music. And somebody pointed out, it's like, what do you just like to steal? It's like breaking into my house and stealing a cup of sugar. Like, he's stealing these lines that are obscure lines from the middle of like jazz solos. Like, what? If you're gonna steal,
here's the deal. I think I understand. If you're going to steal things that you don't want people to know you're stealing, sure, you want them to think you're creative, so you steal them from the like. If I were good enough, but I'm not good enough. Even in my prime, I was never good enough.
But if I was Carrot Top,
if I was going to steal a guitar riff, I'd have stolen George Benson's opening from Bossa Rocca.
I think a lot of people know that. Steven knows that. He plays that for me all the time.
Yeah, but hasn't everything been stolen at this point? There's only so many.
You can't steal Bossa Rocca.
Well,
there's only so many chords on a guitar.
Right, but influence is one thing, but not chords. This is the exact line of like a 3-minute guitar solo, note for note, all the bends, all the little subtleties, all of it. I mean, that's not just like borrowing like the same chords or using the same chord projection.
Well, yeah, I mean, like "Smells Like Teen Spirit" is More Than a Feeling by Boston, just slightly different.
Yeah, it would be the same as if they sung it More Than a Feeling. Wait a minute, that's exactly stealing.
I would agree.
More than teen spirit.
That's
more
what he's
than
doing.
Spirit.
Yeah. There is. I understand what you're saying. There's only so many chords, only so many notes. But when you come out with the same exact thing for an extended period of time, note for note, all the subtleties of it, it's an absolute lifting. And
I got a good question for you guys. What is a song that you absolutely hate from like your era of music, like like late teens, early 20s, that so many people like, but you despise?
Oh,
A popular song that people
I don't hate a whole lot of music.
like. For me, one of the like for me, it's "My Worst Enemy" by the band Lit. That song is terrible. It's also a Who song, but it is a terrible. I hate it so much.
I'm drawing a blank. I can't. I mean, I could think of one in like my 30s. Don't worry, be happy drove me crazy. Now, ironically, I have done it in a cover band, and the audience loved it. But that drove me nuts when it was popular. But I can't think of one in my teens that I really.
Eiffel 65's Blue.
Okay.
I fucking hate that song. Like literally my entire life, I can remember that song being there. And at first, it was like, "Oh, this is fun," and then after like the first 3 times, I can't fucking stand it now. No pun intended.
Freebird and Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, that's annoying me, but I wouldn't say I hate them.
Oh no, I hate them.
Hate?
Yeah, it's
close
to hate as I'm capable of feeling about music.
Yeah, I agree with GD with that. Like Freebird, yeah, I mean it's got moments, it's good, but the song is too long, it's overplayed, and same with Sweet Home Alabama.
No, you love Sweet Home Alabama. Come on. It says it bashes Neil Young. Come on, you love it. Admit it. You love it. You love that part where they say.
I've heard that song too many times, and it's so overplayed. Yeah.
Wow, Ron, we've heard it here first. Ron has become a Neil Young fan here on the program.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna go get all of his albums today on vinyl.
All right.
Matter of fact, fuck that. Go classic. Get 8-track, man.
Yeah.
Erica Verba.
You have the music, you just never have to listen to it because you don't have an 8-track player.
Oh, my stepdad, like years ago, because he had like all these 8 tracks, and then he was like, "You can repair these," and he would get them and he would repair them.
Why? Why would you? You could.
Exactly. Exactly. Why would you?
Yeah, we used to do that all the time. Yeah, tape them together and stuff. But you know, I used to work for a mastering place that created those 8 tracks, and boy, that was not a fun. You were flipping master tapes over, and it was just like a pain in the ass. This is why they were so weird. Like because you never know how long where the flip is between the tracks and all that stuff. So you're using half-track tape and putting stuff on different areas of the tape. It's a very weird fucking process. That was a good technology to die. It couldn't wait to die. Before that, there were 4-track cartridges, which were even worse. But so Erica Verba, who was on the program the other day, who said, "I really enjoyed being with you and your friends." She brought up Neil Young, and we all said, "Oh, good thing Ron's not here." It'll be a war.
You know, I think like 8 tracks, you're right, like are terrible, but I think like aesthetically, like music wise, they look pretty cool. Like if you have an 8-track player and it's like in there in a stereo setup, but yet the quality just isn't there.
And often it would have to, because uneven sides and all that stuff, it would switch in the middle of a song, and you'd get that little glitch in the middle of a song, and just at the best part of the song too. I can't do it.
My aunt had an 8-track. She had a deuce and a quarter. For those of you, an Electra 225. For those of you who aren't versed in the black vernacular, she had an Electra 225, and in the armrest there was an 8-track player. You know, so
wow,
yeah.
And that would have been a problem, because every time somebody hits it with their arm, it would skew off, and
no, it didn't.
You'd have to put a matchbook in there sometimes to get it to sit right on their head and all that. It was just a bad technology. I will say this about her: she never had a problem with the one in that car with the deuce and a quarter. It may have been the only one that worked right. I can't tell you. The amazing thing about 8 tracks that I found out the hard way was that it worked underwater in seawater for a time, and continued to play. Now, we drove out it was February of 1978.
Yeah, Ron is one of the same things. Like, we learned this the hard way. Yeah, so
My friend Steve Heller was stoned and a little drunk, and he pulled up to the ramp that leads out to where you launch your boats to the Great South Bay, and it was frozen over and they would drive semi trucks on the ice. That's how strong the ice was. He goes, "What do you think? You think I should do it?" I was like, "Do what?" And he pulls up to the ramp. He goes, "We're going for it. We're going on the ice." I was like, "I don't think this is a good idea. I mean, it wouldn't be a good idea if we were straight."
Okay, just notice that now Matt doesn't think it's a good idea, but 30 years ago when this happened, Matt was going,
"Oh no, and it's more like 45 years ago, 47 years ago. So we'll be fair about it. But no, I didn't think it was a good idea. I tried to talk him out of it then, but this is Stephen Heller. He didn't get talked out of things. So he drove out on the ice, and then he goes, "Isn't this cool?" I was like, "No, it's not cool." He goes, "We should get out and take a look at it." All right, we'll get out and take a look. No, we didn't have a camera or anything. We're looking at the car sitting on the ice, and I noticed the exhaust coming out of the tailpipe is melting the ice. And I said, "You know what? You've seen the car. Let's get in the car and get the fuck out of here." As soon as I closed my door, I heard the ice break behind the tire where the tailpipe was melting the ice, and the car starts to go down. Now I can get out. I jumped out my door because it was filled with water, but he was starting to sink. He was in there, so I jumped up on the car and helped lift him through the top window, and then he jumped out, and we watched the car go down. Headlights on. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, brain salad surgery in the 8-track player, and it went down, and you could still hear the music even through the bubble, and the headlights stayed on. We walked off the ice. His house was not too far away. Called the police department, and he was still stoned. And he said, "Hello." He called 911. He says, I had a car, and I drove it on the ice, and the ice broke, and my car sunk under the water, and I could hear the cop laughing from the phone, like from 6 feet away. I could hear the cop laughing.
I think that's God telling you he doesn't like Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. It's like, you're going to drive across this lake while Emerson, Lake, and Palmer are playing? Like, fuck you.
Yeah, how dare you?
The Emerson Lake is broken. The car sunk was not all that deep. It was pretty shallow, so that the roof of the car kind of still sat through the top, just barely at the top of the wood, depending on tide. And so springtime came, the water, the ice melted to water, and a boat crashed into his car and sunk. And so now he has to, he has to pay for a crane to get the boat out, a crane to get and divers to get the car out, and a fine to the county of several $1,000s. So all for what? Yeah. What do you think? Should I go for it? We have breaking news.
That sucks.
Somebody read that breaking news. My eyes are too blurry.
As a kid, it was fun to hit the button to go from track to track. I bet my parents still have the 8-track player in their house.
Oh, wow. Wow. As a kid, no. For me, it wasn't so much a kid thing. Now, the guy who lived next door to me, he worked at the dump, the county dump, and places would drop off, like manufacturing places would drop off rejects of 8-tracks that didn't make it, and he would bring them home, and like it had a shed full of 8-tracks. So we took them and taped over the little protection hole, and then you could record on them. Made our own 8-tracks, but those were even more fucked up than the store-bought ones.
That just made me think of like having VHS tapes. Then when the tab would be broke off, someone would put scotch tape over the little piece. So then when you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go watch this," you would go to watch something, and all this, like the show would start. They'd go, "Shh," and then you get whatever. It could be fucking porn or something.
Those were the good old days, folks. Looks like our first guest isn't going to show up. Too, I would have had Blind Mike here now. We would have got the tears and
God damn it.
Nina Brooks is her name. I don't know how. I was trying to find out how she got booked on this show. She's a director and screenwriter and has a production house.
She's also an author.
I don't know. Yeah, all that stuff. How did she get booked on here? I couldn't find a publicist link. Nothing. She just decided to book this thing and not show up. Kind of like my show last night. So there were five original acts supposed to be on this show last night, and apparently none of them wanted to do it. All of them sounded like a good idea.
I don't understand why they would agree to do it.
I don't understand that about myself. I talked about that yesterday. It sounded like a good idea at the time.
I'm talking
comics do the same shit. Comics do the same shit.
Musicians don't usually, and I was wrestling with it. It sounded like a good idea at the time, but then as I was thinking of it, back in and original music shows. Let's face it, original music shows for artists that most people have never heard of. This is going to be an empty room except for the guy's mother and father and maybe a few of his friends who still don't hate him. But I was getting excited about it, and towards the end there, but when I found out it was canceled, I was a little disappointed. So I got to start thinking, don't ever get a positive attitude about anything. It's not for me. It doesn't work for me. But yeah, the younger people who were calling him and saying they didn't want to do it, that baffled my mind. I could see me because I'm my own curmudgeon. It's a guy drive a couple of hours and whatever. No band, just me up there. So yeah, it didn't happen. So apparently, flakiness. Somebody told me not to talk about them, so I can't talk about them specifically. But they were talking about their job, where people go through the process of putting in an application, setting up an interview, going to the interview, following up with the interview with a portfolio or whatever, getting hired for the job, not showing up on day one, calling in with an excuse, rescheduling their start date for the next day, not showing up that day. It's like, man, what the hell is with people with this flakiness? Why bother putting yourself through all the interviews and applications and all that stuff if you're not going to show up for the job? And they gave him a second chance. Like, you gave him a second. If you don't show up on day one, the job's been filled, even if it hasn't been filled. I gave it to Lumpy. Anyway, so what are we going to do for the first hour? No Nina Brooks. Ron, you know about show business? You know about Jimmy Kimmel and I think it was Brad Pitt? With Jimmy Kimmel and Brad Pitt? Was that who was fighting? Brad Pitt walked off the thing and said, "Fuck you, you suck. You can suck my fucking stinky ass. I will kick your ass in the parking lot. Let's go, you motherfucker."
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, that's happened.
Jimmy Kimmel, what?
I think it was Brad Pitt. Was it Brad Pitt? Yeah, I think it was Brad Pitt.
I feel like I would have heard about this.
I don't even know who Jimmy Kimmel is. I know who Brad Pitt is because he looks like a young Robert Redford.
How can you not know who Jimmy Kimmel is? I mean, I could see if you never watched the show.
Because it's underlining jealousy. That's just...
yeah, but you know who Stephen Colbert is, and you have to know what you're going to Stephen Colbert just to avoid
I really do know who Jimmy Kimmel is.
But see, what makes this fun for me is that GD knows I'm picking scabs, and it's fun picking scabs.
So you will enjoy the Blind Mike segment if Blind Mike does show up, then, because Blind Mike doesn't think GD's funny at all, and he is on a mission to not let people find out for themselves whether GD is funny or not.
Does he play the blues?
No, I don't know. Maybe he does. He looks like he should with his dark glasses and stuff, but I think he's a phony like Steven. When I
hear a name like Blind Mike, I just think like an old black gentleman sitting on a wooden porch playing a guitar. He's lived some life. He's like, let me play it.
You're not wrong about that. Apparently, there are 5. Let me just finish my sentence before you have to. There are 5 blind mics of some notoriety or fame like that. 5 different blind mics, and they all have. So finding the right blind mic on there was a difficult thing. Now, Steven, you could go ahead, interrupt you little fat.
We should have a cripple fight. We should just have a cripple fight. Let me and him fight it out.
Or you could bring 2 of the other blind mics, and then we'd have 3 blind mics. 3 blind mics.
Ooh, let's see what you did there.
That's funny, right? Pretty fucking hysterical. I should be a comedy writer, shouldn't I?
That was fucking way funnier than GD.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just kidding, GD.
GD's puckering up for you. It looks like he's puckering up.
I know.
No,
It's
something happened on
cool.
my other screen. It was just a little bit frustrating, so I was exhaling instead of getting angry.
You were looking up
Oh.
Jimmy Kimmel. Who is this Jimmy Kimmel guy they're talking about?
Jimmy
No, I
Kimmel
really
porn?
do know who Jimmy Kimmel is. I'm pretty sure I know who he is.
Ben Stein's money.
There's also a Jimmy Fallon, right?
Right. At one point, it was
one is the
everybody
one
was Jimmy.
which one is the one that's like really musically talented and sings and has like?
That's
I
Fallon.
guess Fallon would be.
Yeah, that would be a Fallon.
Oh, that's Fallon. Okay, then I don't know who Jimmy Kimmel is.
Jimmy Kimmel. I like Jimmy Kimmel when he was on Ben Stein's Money. Ben Stein's Money was low.
Let me check. I bet you I do know who Jimmy Kimmel is.
Yeah, you never saw Ben Stein's Money? I'm surprised you never saw Ben Stein's Money.
That was like what 30 years ago.
20 years ago, probably, yeah. But Jimmy Kimmel was the guy on there. He was the I don't know, question asker.
Welcome to Boomer Corner, the only corner that you can get stuck in.
I was just getting him.
What are we getting stuck in?
I was getting him and Jimmy Fallon mixed up. Okay, I know who he is.
Kimmel at one point was doing like football games. He was like the guy in the crowd doing like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He was on Fox Sports on Sundays doing football games. I don't know how that worked out. He also had the Man Show. You never saw the Man Show with with
Adam somebody,
Adam Toyota Corolla and
Adam Carolla.
Now,
yeah,
I did see that a couple of times, but I don't remember who was on the show with Adam. Because the show was not that interesting to me.
Wow. All right. So there you go.
But I do know there was two people, but I don't remember who the second person was.
I don't remember who I am most of the time. Who am I?
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm John Valjean. That's who I am. You get the reference there, Steven? You get it?
I'm Slim Shady, so I'm the real Shady. I'm just kidding. I'm not Slim Shady.
Yeah, it's miserable. Miserable Ollie.
This breaking news. For your information, I just offered to put Steven on a smoke show this evening, and he declined. How is he a comedian? Doesn't have a gig tonight? What a fat, no mustache growing potato face Amish fuck.
Yeah. I don't think that's breaking news. That's common knowledge, isn't it? This is all that.
The part about him not taking a gig is the breaking news.
Were you offered a gig and refused the gig? That doesn't seem like you would do that. It seemed like I could offer you a gig playing my
I was offered a gig, but I'm getting my daughter tonight. That takes precedence over everything. So
what?
Yeah.
It's not even a real daughter.
That is you're not a show business person. If that takes precedence over it, you got your priorities all in the wrong place. I don't know if you know.
Well, I haven't seen my kid in over a month because I haven't had a daughter. So.
They don't count. Nothing counts.
She's not even your real kid, though, right? She's like a loner,
right? She's a loner.
No, my oldest is mine. My 14-year-old. My 14-year-old is mine.
The 30-year-old.
Wow.
The 30-year-old is
no.
The one that's taken after her mother.
Oh,
the 14-year-old, the one that's acting like her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you decide to be abused by first wife Junior, and not go to the show. Okay.
So,
bring her to the show. Bring her. She's 14.
Well,
let's embarrass.
She's graduating middle school, so I'm taking her out to dinner. I'm gonna, spend some time with her.
Hopefully, ask her if she's got some friends she could.
Say, can you introduce me to some of your friends?
Right.
Daddy's on a roll.
It's funny. Like back in when I was like 22, back when I was 22 or 23 years old, my friends, we would all joke about this all the time. Like, hey man, when our kids are in high school on sleepovers, and I was just like, fucking, why are we even talking about this? My district manager was a fucking disgusting human being. He still is. He's a terrible person. John Spalding, you're a freak.
Then after that conversation, we all took our shirts off. And that's when the Johnsons and Johnson baby oil came out. and we began to moisten up each other's chests by rubbing them.
As soon as we had the conversation, we took our lunch
I'm
break.
surprised Ron doesn't know about this. They were yesterday. I remember the guy's first name, Judd, because I kept thinking they were saying Judge, but it's some Republican guy who was an aide to somebody. I can't. He was at one time Ted Cruz's in charge of Ted Cruz's office, and until 2 days ago, he was an aide for some senior Republican, and I think in the Senate or something. But he had to resign because he made a comment that he admits to making to one of the people who worked under him, that he had this wild fantasy about watching him get anally raped in front of his wife and children. And
what the fuck?
I know it was
what?
They went into graphic detail. Luke Beasley and his female co-host were going into graphic detail about how this guy elaborated. He didn't even deny making these claims to a subordinate in the office that, you know what, I really would love to see. I would really love to watch you get anally raped on your couch by your while your wife and your small children are watching. And then he went into great detail about how it should go, and didn't even deny making the comments. Like he didn't fight it. Yeah, you made it. I'm out of here. And apparently, this guy in the past got fired from Ted Cruz's office for doing the same thing. And it didn't even make the news. Nobody even knew about it. Like, how often does this shit go on? Like, these people just, I would really love to see you get anally raped.
That's fucking, I don't know, man. That's gross. That's way out there, man.
So that's where you draw the line. That's where I was trying to find out where Steven draws the line. That's why I brought it up.
I draw the line way before that, but that's fucking weird, man. Like,
that's really weird.
Look, here's the thing. We joke about like Steve's a pedophile, but my district manager, I'm convinced, was some sort of predator. Okay, because we're standing at the front. Well, he's standing at the front of the store. I'm in my chair next to him, and then my other manager's there. And these chicks walk by, and he just looks at me, looks at the other guy, and goes, "Not bad." And I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure one of them was like, probably in high school, and he goes, "Well, if there's grass on the field, play ball." And I was just like, "What?"
Let's just clarify.
This was in the wild.
You didn't say these little girls walk by. You said these chicks walk by.
Well, I didn't know how old they were. I assumed that they looked young. You got to remember, I was 22 at the time, but I was like, these girls look a little young. And he's like, "Well, there's grass on the." I was like, dude, I hear this in the wild. Not in a comedy setting.
That is a creepy old man saying. That is a creepy old man saying.
I heard that and I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna go not do what we're doing right now. And I didn't even like being in a room alone with the dude after that. The dude always gave off creepy vibes, and after he said that meaningfully, I was like, nah.
Hey, I want you to come over tonight and we're gonna watch the Wizards of Waverly Place together.
Yeah. Nina Brooks just rescheduled. A half hour after she was supposed to be here, she just rescheduled for June 16th.
Let me guess. Emergency in the hospital.
Oh, that could. But then you get your phone call. Come on, this is the thing. Just a phone call.
Like I said.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, it's.
But I brought that up yesterday. With the person who didn't show up for a phone call, just say, you know what, I got a better offer. Whatever happened, you call them and you tell them in advance. You don't leave them saying, "Where the fuck are you?" Right? Or am I wrong? I'm wrong.
Yeah, I had a comic do that to me a few months ago. He like made up this story, and it's like, I know you're doing another gig. Just say it. Just tell me they're paying you more money, or it's a bigger gig. It's like, I'm not an idiot.
So this guy, Wayne Volweiler. Hey, Wayne, it's been 30 years. He called in sick 3 times in a month with the grandmother dying. Like, he had 3 grandmothers. That's an unusual thing. 3 grandmothers die. I never confronted him on it. I just let it slide. But, calling in sick with your grandmother died 3 times in a month. You can be a little creative. At least give Grandpa a fucking shot at the spotlight. I don't know. So, we got no. I would have had Nina. if you're listening, we could have GD in a pool of tears right now. If you would just called me and said, I'm not going to make it, we could have Blind Mike here just pulling GD's boxer shorts down if he wears maybe briefs, I don't know. And then anally raping him and then reporting it to Ted Cruz's office. What? Oh, you blurred out? Is that what's... so that's not happening. GD, you're taking this very nonchalantly. Like, yeah, let Matt say.
I was reading something in the chat room.
Oh, what? Oh, is Ann there saying hello? I can't wait to see you cry.
No.
What goes on?
Something I wrote.
What goes on? You and Ann got a thing going on, don't you?
No.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, she is. She's coming for
me. She's coming for him.
Carl, you have a Lipka. Carl, you have a Libka.
Link.
Libka.
Yeah, you have a Lipka.
Libka, I says.
Lipical.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this about Libka, but it doesn't work. You can
Libka my balls.
Yeah. So are you asking Carl to come on the show? Is that what that means?
He has a link.
But
so what happened with the text? Okay, I'm just this whole Jimmy
Jimmy Kimmel. Are you still focusing on Jimmy Kimmel?
No, not still. I just started focusing on him again. You said he was fighting with Brad Pitt.
I think it was Brad Pitt. One of these big movie stars was on the show. He asked him about a divorce or something, and he ripped off his microphone and went to walk off. It's just the other day. It'll make me cry. You're gonna make me cry. I could probably look it up and find out.
Oh. It says that Brad Pitt was kicked off of Jimmy Kimmel's show after a heated argument.
No, he wasn't kicked off. I know for a fact because I saw the clip. He wasn't kicked off. He walked off.
I'm just telling you what Google says. All of the videos listed here on Google says Brad Pitt kicked off Jimmy Kimmel's show. Brad Pitt kicked off Jimmy Kimmel's show. This one says he stormed off, but then the rest of them say kicked off. Either way, it's a 15-minute clip.
Storming. Wow. No, the story, the 15 minutes of people conjecturing about what was said backstage and all that stuff. But the clip is like 10 seconds of and it was a joke. It was a joke. It was making some fun of something that happened in the past that was public knowledge. Everybody knew about it. I don't know if it was Jennifer Aniston or Angelina Jolie or something. Divorce thing. And this is what Kimmel does. This is what all these late night guys do. They find an open scab and they pick at it a little bit. You got to expect that when you like Steven. He doesn't sign up to be called a pedophile, joke thief, fat fuck, Amish fucking fathead. But we do call him that, and he doesn't storm off. He doesn't say, "Well, fuck you guys. Yeah, you're gonna go that way."
Bunch of haters.
So Brad Pitt, fuck Brad Pitt. I'm just saying, you signed up to be for the show. Stand it, give it back to him. I don't know what you'd say.
Yeah,
you'd say, you know what? GD Fennis had never heard of you.
Oh, I bet that would have crushed him.
That would get him right.
Yeah, especially since he knows all of my joke.
I know all of them, man.
Both of them. You don't do any. I thought you don't do jokes. Isn't that what you've been? Isn't that your
mantra? You do stories.
Yeah. I don't do jokes. He can storm off. What is storm off? Rolling off. Anticlimactic. Oh, Steven. Yeah. No, I don't know if you know this about Steven, but Steven claimed, except for the mark on his head, he's been doing very well with the old leg thing. The legs are.
I'm getting better. Definitely getting better. I'm probably.
When he encounters walls, he doesn't know how to go around them.
Probably, I stopped using the crutches. So I'm encouraged.
Pregnant because you look more like 9 months pregnant. But speaking of 9 months pregnant, yesterday off the cuff, well, not off the cuff. I'm sorry, that's another gay cooking show. Some cooking with a fat guy on YouTube or something. Carl was the.
Oh, I'm on YouTube. Hi.
Hello, Carl.
Good evening.
Hi, buddy.
I saw the clip came up while I was in the car with my wife, and I know that would be something that would annoy her, and then we'd end up fighting over it. So I didn't see it, but I didn't listen to it. But it seemed like Andy fed you something that was bad? Was it
We made 3 ice creams, one like chocolate and Nutella, one Bakewell tart, and one out of spicy hot sauce, so a spicy ice cream.
Whoa!
We used gochujang, the Korean stuff. We used one thing from Arizona that he got from Bisbee, and then a death sauce, which also came from Joby as well in Bisbee. And it wasn't good.
It doesn't seem like that would make a good ice cream flavor. Anything spicy, I don't know, taco ice cream or whatever.
Yeah, it's strange because you're eating a cold thing, but it's also hot. It's very weird.
Yeah. Did you
Don't do it.
Did you disappoint me by not flying? I think you did disappoint me by not going to see Stanhope and Andrews.
Yeah, do you know what? Last Friday I accidentally drank 9 beers in town and then went to see Andy.
Did you say accidentally?
Yeah, accidentally.
Kinda. I was a few hours late, and then so I rolled up to his house drunk, and we actually went on Skyscanner or whatever and tried to look at last-minute flights, but they had I don't know what's more than quadrupled. It was 6 times the price as it was the week before. So yeah, well, it was cheap. It was like £100, and it was 600 when we checked. So we would have gone. I did message Andrus and sent him a drunk picture. I'm not sure he appreciated it. I said we didn't come, and we went to play golf and got drunk.
Golf? Have you? I didn't know you were a golfer. Are you?
That was my virgin. I had my hymen broken. I was the Monica Lewinsky to Andy's cigar.
Hack is a golfer though.
He is, yeah. He loves golf. He plays a few times a week. I actually enjoyed it. I'm going to turn into a golf wanker. I think that's the technical term.
It's a fun thing to do. Oh, we lost Ron. Did we lose Ron?
Ron's like that fucking English, that fucking limey.
I think he went to listen to some Neil Young records.
So what's your friend's handicap?
Huh?
What do you know?
Stephen, what's your handicap?
Oh yeah, he's only been playing like 2 years, so it's not great.
So, Carl, have you ever fantasized about me getting anally raped while my children and wife watch?
Not yet, but I've only knocked 2 out today, so we could try and fit a third one in. We'll see.
All right,
I might now.
It's something weird with you, Steven. You're like out of sync. You're like watching a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave and come back. I don't know why it's so out of sync. It's throwing me off too.
You can't leave just because Nina Brooks didn't show up. The best part of the show is coming up when Blind Mike gets here.
I know. I'm back. 2 shakes of a hanky.
All right.
We had did you see the car attack on the Liverpool supporters? Some guy drove through a crowd while they were celebrating winning the league, like in Liverpool. Kids and everything got hit by this car. You think it's a terror attack, right? And the agitators going, "He's going to be a Muslim. He's going to be an Islamist." Turns out was a former military guy, a Royal Marine, who just lost his temper, it seems, and maybe he's got PTSD. But my thoughts were PTSD brackets PTS drive for Queen and Country. Or I was just trying to think of stupid puns for kids being hit by a car, but that's as far as I got.
I heard the little wheelchair boy pop in, but I don't see him. Oh, there he is. He should just let himself back in the room there. Why do I have to let him back? See, now he's... are you in sync? Talk.
Is that better?
No.
Out of sync. We see you, then we hear you. It's like, I guess, with a gun... You hear
you
it,
don't even test
it, right?
Using the right way.
You feel it, then hear it.
Say Godzilla.
You were frozen.
Say Godzilla.
Godzilla.
One more time, because you were frozen again.
And you had your finger in front of it.
Godzilla.
So
better.
Okay.
Not bad.
All
right.
But you're frozen.
It was a little Godzilla.
Okay.
You're freezing up.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Well,
you're freezing up.
This is the worst possible day you could experience this, Stephen. We're here to watch GD get humiliated and anally raped by Blind Mike, who might even take his blind.
I know.
His Ray
You know
Charles
what?
glasses up for it.
Hold on.
What?
Let me hook up some Bluetooth headphones and see if that helps.
I'm not letting you do anything. You do what you want to do, but I'm not letting you do it. How's that?
Okay.
So yeah, one guest is a no-show. I want Amanda Cruel. I think that's how you say her name. Cruel.
Yeah, she said Cruel. Yeah,
she
Cruel.
was here yesterday, and said she would be. Now, if I was here yesterday and saw that debacle, I would not show up today. But
yeah,
she
but
said
she left a smiley face, a laughy face at the end of her comment. So
I know, and it seemed like she was looking forward to doing it. But that, man, how twisted do you have to be to watch that? It was a Dr. Seuss show, or kind of a doctor. Grok of the Croc and the Gok, the Grok with the cock on the rock. Wears a smock or something. But I mean, what was entertaining about that you'd be looking forward to? Oh, tomorrow should be fun. We'll talk more about groks and cocks. I really
probably had
barely
a different book, so we wouldn't talk about rocks. And it's not like we don't change the subject when we change guests.
Right. We should come up with our own children's book, don't you think?
Is that better?
We had a children's book. It's called
Louder.
Don't Let Stephen Near Your Kids.
Is that better?
You know what I would do? I'd restart your router or disconnect your Wi-Fi or Ethernet and plug it back in.
I would turn your hat around backwards. Turn your hat around the other way.
Yeah. All right. I wonder now. What do you think is going? Because Ron is in the back. He's in the green room. He's like, he doesn't like Carl. You think
he's waiting for me to leave? He's waiting for me to leave. He's like, fucking British.
Remember, on Fridays he's working from home, so something may have came up.
He got a call. He got a call from the boss, and he's got to pretend he's not on fucking YouTube.
He's not off on Fridays.
I always wondered about that when people are working from home and then they're in a public place like this. Does anybody on the job like accidentally tune? Hey, there's what he's not.
Well, I mean, if you're stupid enough to share it on your social media and you're working, yeah, that's
yeah.
But you can keep it secret. No one's finding the show. Come on.
I think Steven would have tagged Ron in the promos for this, like, hey, Ron, and then there's whoever works with him is on social media to say, hey, wait, what? He's doing some dopey. I don't know what would you even call it? It's not a show. It is a waste of time. He's doing some dopey waste of time.
Like a gay hang.
Yeah.
Gay hang.
Gay hang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my
sounds
belly.
like a Korean. That sounds like a Korean shop. They hang.
So now you and Hack have had this moment where you got back together, reconnection. Is he going to continue with this? Another fat guy cook? It's kind of sporadic. He doesn't.
Yeah. So this is what's happening. He can now no longer do it alone. He has to wait for me to go there. That's why. And I couldn't go for like 3 months.
Or is this a personal like fetish? Or is
maybe he has some weird anxiety. He can't even function alone to do it. So he has to wait till I go and encourage him. He's like, come on, let's film something and drink.
I didn't get my invite. GD, did you get your invite to go?
You can go look at the flights to, I guess Manchester would be the quickest one. They're probably not too bad. New York, Manchester, 500, I reckon.
I didn't get my invite.
$500, $500, 500 hours.
I don't know. I mean, I've got flights to New York for like 400 from London or something.
You don't know about Carl. He is not tethered to anybody else's rules, or he lives life by his own rules. He does.
It's not entirely true.
What, you go where you want.
I mean, I guess I could fly to London for a gig. I have family there.
I mean, look at this. I'm seeing flights for like 326, 270. This is JFK to Manchester as well. Normally, that's more expensive than London. So,
do you think you get just whenever you feel like it, just pick up for 2 months and go to Brazil and find some beautiful?
Well, if
I went to find a beautiful girl, my wife would cut off my beautiful balls.
Yeah.
See? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm.
It wasn't planned this time, and it was very difficult to get away with, but I managed, and now I'm horrendously in debt. So
You've been to Brazil more times in the last 3 years than I have in my life.
Yes, I've probably been 4 times in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
one of those I stayed for 3 months, and one I stayed for 2.
You've been to Brazil more times in the last 3 years than I've been to New York in the past 6.
I've been to New York once in the last 8 or 3.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not true because I've been in New York
once, twice, 3 times.
Well, that was twice in the past year, twice this year. But
even with the spinning wheel, nope, he can't do it. He can't do it.
My wife and I were in New York for an anniversary. and we were there for the Stephen Colbert show.
Yeah. So I don't know who Stephen Colbert is. He like he's like a Jimmy Kimmel wannabe or something. I never heard.
He's just the guy who's desperate enough to put me
Very
on.
out of sync, Stephen.
Carl, do you have late night guys over there that are like
Still out of sync really bad?
Benny Hill. They have Benny Hill,
Jimmy Kimmel,
David
your
Allen.
Jimmys and your Stevens over there.
Yeah, but it's not. They do it in seasons. It's not as big. Nowhere near as big. Not anymore. People don't really watch it. We got like two guys. We got a gay guy. Can't remember his name. Might have finished. Graham Norton, and then the guy called Jonathan Ross. They tend to get the big movie stars on and that kind of stuff. Similar. Sit down on the sofa, joke around, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's not too big.
Were you aware?
Now, I don't know do you remember Benny Hill and then the show that came on after him? At least in the U.S. it came on. I think it was Alan at Large or something like that.
Well, Benny Hill was either a bit before my time or when I was like 3, but I did see reruns with my dad. So it used to be on like a Sunday evening in the UK.
Okay.
And then there was, Are You Being Served or something? Was the next one, the show that
And
followed?
that was a sitcom. That was like a sitcom.
Do you get like BBC US or something?
Yeah.
That's like a collation of everything. We had 2 channels, and the primary stuff would be on BBC One. BBC Two had the bit more underground stuff, but you would have a collation of it, so it'd be a different time. But yeah, the Sunday evening comedies. We had one called Dad's Army, Only Fools and Horses. Classic British comedies, which have now gone away.
TD and I grew up with PBS airing Monty Python at 11 p.m. Monty Python's Flying Circus, and that was my introduction to British comedy. It's like, wow, these guys are fucking nuts, man.
And that was in the 60s and 70s as well, because I used to have all their TV shows on DVD, and the first half were like black and white.
Yeah.
And then they switched to color, and then they made the movies, like the 3 movies they made.
But now that was my first introduction to Monty Python was in '73 that I'm aware of, and it was and now for something completely different. They showed it at our school.
Wow.
Yeah, that was their main show.
Yeah.
Classic bicycle repairman. Well, everyone's dressed as. I think everyone's dressed as Superman. Yeah, everyone's dressed as Superman.
Yeah,
it's just great. Just chaos. And then you had Terry Gilliam that came out of that, who went on to make stuff like Brazil and crazy movies.
Yeah.
But they were way ahead of their time.
Yeah. You know what? But so I mean, one or two. I don't know a whole lot of British comedians. I don't. That one guy who was really big over there and was he was on
that one guy that was big over there.
Just like last year, one guy who was really big over there was doing the rounds in the U.S. last year. And
Adam Rowe, maybe Scouser.
No,
he's been on a lot of the big podcasts now in the U.S.
This guy's been on Rogan a couple of times, and
British comic.
We're doing all, yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah,
that's better, much better.
Yeah, you went to the junior high school or something. Where are you?
No, I had to use my fucking phone.
Well,
damn yeah. Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time. He used to be in fucking corporate. He was in a corporate accountant or something for years, and then he just decided to switch to comedy.
Is he good? Because when he's on the podcast things, he's never really, I don't get to see him doing his act. He's trying to have like conversations about, nonsense, politics and whatever. It doesn't seem like you can't tell if he's any good, but he's got strong opinions about comedy and the business of comedy.
Yeah, I think everyone has. I find comedy incredibly boring to talk about now, and nothing's interesting about it. Yeah. But he's got some good one-liners, quite dark. Some of it more recently is a bit more cheesy, but he's been around a long time. His act's pretty good. He's very good roast guy.
Roast guy.
Pretty respected in the US actually, which is strange.
Were you a Tommy Cooper fan?
Yeah, but not when he was alive. I watched reruns again with my dad. Crazy stuff. Big weird magician guy in a fez, I think, right?
Yeah.
Ironically, the last comment from Slaptail was about Steven rolling off anticlimactic, but Steven's actually done it like 4 times in the last 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, it is true.
Listen, I don't think you do well with Jimmy Kimmel because he'd bring up your ex-wife, and then you'd throw down your earbuds and say, "I'm out of here." I
just don't like Jimmy Kimmel anyway, but
yeah. Why? What don't you like about Jimmy Kimmel? Did he?
I don't know. I've never found him funny. I've always found his delivery to be kind of dry and snobbish, and it is. I don't know.
Somebody doesn't.
I don't disagree. I don't think he's cut. And listen, obviously, it's more successful than anybody in this room.
For sure, yeah. But I mean, it's just he's not my
I
cup
don't
of tea.
think the late night format suits him. I thought he was okay on the Man Show, but I thought he was excellent on Ben Stein. And Ben Steiner's role was different. He was like the Alex Trebek kind of guy asking the questions, but he was abusive of Ben Stein. I liked him when he was on Ben Stein. I thought he was.
I never watched any US late night religiously, but years ago, I kind of like some clips from Conan, and some of the classic Letterman stuff was good.
Yeah. Now Conan was a guy.
It's nice to watch Win Ben Stein's Money, and I don't remember Kimmel at all. I don't remember anybody other than Ben Stein on that show.
Wow.
And I used to watch it pretty much every week whenever.
I mean, I remember Kimmel being around. Like I said, on Man Show, I thought he was pretty good. On Ben Stein, I thought he was good too. But yeah, just the late night thing just doesn't suit him, I think. So it's just,
you know what? Conan is a guy when he took over. First of all, Leno and Letterman was still like fighting for the Tonight Show, but it was apparent that Letterman was leaving late night. And then they announced Conan O'Brien. I was like, who the fuck is this? Nobody had ever heard of him. And I was like, and I saw him. I was like, this is going to be a failure. And this guy.
He was just a Simpsons writer, wasn't he? Like a
yeah.
And I think he was on SNL.
SNL.
Too, yeah.
Yep.
But for him to get that point, and then he was surprisingly good. And now looking back on it in retrospect, I think Conan was one of the best late night guys ever.
Way more interesting, really funny, like genuinely funny, great with the guests.
Yeah,
Conan is my number 1 late night guy in my rankings personally.
Well, mine obviously, without even having to say this, is now I can't even remember his name.
You can't remember his name.
The guy with the finger, the black guy, the black one, the black
Arsenio?
One. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then any white guy after that.
What?
Yeah, the black guy. I'm just teasing.
I think Arsenio had a good show, but him personally, he was phony.
I think Trevor Noah's better than him, personally.
I don't even know.
A better black?
Other than, I mean,
a better late night host.
The only thing he did was Daily Show. He didn't have another show after that, right?
Yeah, his last name wasn't Miller. What you said, Trevor Miller?
Trevor Noah.
Oh, Noah. Yeah. I know who Trevor Noah is.
That's not late night hosting. That's sketch comedy with news.
Yeah. Well, there was a monologue involved.
Yeah, I only compare them because of the monologue and it, the time that it comes on and whatever.
The monologue in one gap and then a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't sit down and watch one of those shows. Now maybe I'd see a clip if there's an interview with someone that was interesting, but I don't like the obvious setup. Hey, so you took a flight recently and something happened, that stuff. I don't know if they still do that, but that stuff used to get on my nerve. And then the comedian or whoever's got the ready-made fucking story.
Right.
That's why I like podcasts so much better than any television manufactured talk shows, because on those things you have to do a pre-interview. The producer tells you about the question you're going to talk
and they get
about.
like 6 minutes of airtime, whatever it is, like 3-minute talk, and then we'll be right back.
Right.
Fucking band or adverts.
There's a commercial, and then we come back to them. Yeah, but that whole format, and because I've had people ask me, you want to do a pre-interview for this? I was like, if you ask me that again, you were out. You're canceled. Don't come on my show. Don't even ask for a pre-interview. It's all about spontaneity and being in the moment.
Well, even shows like Stern did pre-interviews, right? They were pretty heavily screened before they got through.
I got to go to Indiana and go fuck somebody up, and then I'll be right back. What was that, Steven? That was your ass twinging a little bit? Your hemorrhoids itching?
I'm gonna pre. Oh.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Where's Ron?
We missed the news.
Ron is back there taking orders from the Schwitz and Whizzles company.
We didn't play news. We're going to get dinged. Is there going to be a copyright strike because we didn't play the news?
Yeah, there'll be a copyright strike for something we didn't play.
Okay. There's a channel. There's a channel like Pop TV or something that's just started saying that they're going to play every episode of The Simpsons. That's what they say. every episode of The Simpsons. Now I'm wondering if that includes the Tracy Ullman stuff, because that's where they started.
Right. Yeah.
Or if they don't count those as episodes, just shorts.
Wait, what's Tracy Ullman?
Oh, get out of here! Go on home! Go, all of you!
Yeah.
I hate you all.
Yeah,
that's true.
She was like the shit for a while, quite some time. She was like
I asked about her 3 weeks ago. I said, "Whatever happened to her?" Because she was it. She was.
Yeah, and I fucking Googled it. I've never seen her apart from she did something 10 years ago, and
yeah.
She was at the top.
Should we do it again? Should we just repeat the fucking thing every week? Tracy Ullman.
If you watch like a CNN retrospective of the 80s, I would be shocked if Tracy Ullman was not included in that. She was one of the memories of the 1980s.
Yeah, I think as far as television goes, I think of her and Gary Shandling as the two like comedy. I don't even know what to call the shows. I don't know. They weren't really sitcoms, but they were just entertaining as fuck.
So she's still semi-regularly popping up on TV shows, including 3 seasons of Curb. The actor she did this year. Every couple of years she's making a few TV shows or popping up, sporting stuff. But yeah, life stuff. Very few people hang around for like 30, 40 years, right? At the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fair enough. Speaking of hanging
I mean, maybe she knew that she was like, because a lot of what she did was, she did characters, impersonations. A lot of that is high energy stuff, but also if her body can't do it anymore, if that was her money making stuff, she's like, well, why
money maker?
Yeah, well,
shake the money maker.
Yeah, quit while she's ahead. Quit while she can still do it. Don't become like Muhammad Ali.
And people have different things. You can get to one point and go, "What's the fucking point now?"
Steven,
I just want to chill out, have a family.
Steven, would you shake your money maker for me?
Don't, Steven. Don't.
That's not your money.
They're money makers or milkers.
Yeah,
money milkers.
Oh,
the farm boys.
All right. Speaking of, we have a guest. Cole, are you staying?
I should leave. I should leave because it'll be just destructive for everyone.
All right. I'll be over in Manchester in about an hour later today. So I'll go say hello to Carl. Amanda Krull is crazy enough that she saw what to expect yesterday by watching this program, and she decided, I'll show up anyway today, which good for her, but good for us. But you got to wonder what she's thinking. She is a stand-up comic producer and host based in Knoxville, Tennessee. You're familiar with Knoxville, Stephen? You go to Knoxville often?
I've been to Knoxville a few times, yeah.
Things have been going very well for her lately. With she had an Instagram clip go viral, which there's a vaccine for now. And she was a finalist in the Jersey Hustle and Be Bold, Be Heard comedy contest, won artist residency at East Austin Comedy Club. So she's traveling in Austin, Texas, won a spicy one-liner contest held by Tiny Stage Comedy. I don't know. I never knew about Tiny Stage Comedy, and has been featured on Don't Tell comedy shows in 4 different cities. That's a hell of a intro. If I could just find the button to push in. She's here now. Good morning, Amanda. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello. So you saw this yesterday and you decided, sure, I'll give that a chance.
I was worried that you guys were going to be like really smart and having like all these intellectual discussions, and I wouldn't be able to keep up.
And then you found out, no, they're really stupid. They're really stupid, and that's comforting in a way.
Yeah, I can fit in. I can fit in with stupid.
Yeah. All right, fine. Now, Knoxville, a hell of a town. Did you grow up in Knoxville?
No, I'm actually originally from St. Louis, Missouri. But I moved to Knoxville in January of 2009, and I honestly wasn't expecting to be here for very long. But once you move to a place because it's cheap, it's really hard to leave and go somewhere else.
You're a prisoner there. I've been a prisoner in the Knoxville courthouse. Don't make me sing that song. It's all about Stephen's favorite hobby, statutory rape.
God fucking damn it.
I have 2 questions for you, Amanda. One, you don't want your YouTube clip being reposted? And the other thing is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Were you in DC there, or were you in Florida? Because I didn't hear you mentioning you making your rounds in Florida. I heard Tennessee and Mississippi and
Well,
So I'm just curious.
Yeah. So with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I ran the Bernie campaign in Knoxville in 2015 and 2016. And
Okay.
she came here to do a fundraiser, and they weren't sure if they wanted to let me go because I'd made some negative tweets about her. But in the end, and that's what came out in the WikiLeaks, was them saying like, oh, we don't know if she's going to try and start shit, but if we deny her entry, she'll say she was denied by the big bad establishment. So.
Oh, the gatekeepers, as Stephen would call them.
Mm-hmm.
The gatekeepers.
Very much so.
So what was your function in politics? Were you the house comedian for Bernie Sanders?
No, I didn't start comedy for a few years after. So I was a volunteer organizer for like local in Tennessee and on the national scale. I ran like the conference call team with a few other people. So just like volunteer training stuff. And then in the beginning of 2016, we got an office in Knoxville, and I officially started working for the campaign as a field organizer. And I just ran the office, and it was a pain in the ass.
So you're a big Trump supporter, are you? Are you a big Trump supporter?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, me too.
So in your politicking, did you meet any celebrities that you thought, I'd really like to keep in touch with them? And just, of course, you can't because they're celebrities and you're just Amanda waiting to be a celebrity.
Yeah, no.
How dare you say that to our guest?
No, she knows. It's not like it's a surprise to her. She knew.
It hurt me. It hurt me personally to hear you say that.
I mean, I got to meet Rosario Dawson, which was really cool. She was great. She helped volunteer, and I don't know. I guess it's you meet certain people, and one of the guys that I worked on the campaign with, he's actually running against Nancy Pelosi now to primary her, which is a pretty big deal. But yeah, I don't keep in touch with a whole lot of people from that scene because it's kind of doesn't grow smoothly, cohesively fit up with the comedy stuff.
Do you dare do any political humor at this point? Does anybody do political jokes? Because it's just such a dangerous.
In Tennessee, like it's hard to sometimes I'll just make a stupid like wordplay joke or something, but I don't get political or really like to make my position really known.
I think that's a shame that we've gotten to the point where that's off limits because, and I've talked about this so many times. Growing up, my parents were according to my ex-brother, they were divided. My father was far more liberal and democratic than my mother, but they watched everything, comedians from both sides, and enjoyed it. And now we're at a point where, because I think politics, it does, and there's a good place for humor in politics to kind of take the edge off of all the nonsense. We can't even make those jokes anymore. We're at a point where it's a minefield for anybody. If you do it, you're putting your career at risk, your livelihood at risk. It's a shame that we've gotten to that point.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who do it, but just personally, I know if I say something that sounds anti-Trump in Tennessee, the people, anything I say after that is gonna they're kind of, well, wait a second, I don't know about that. It just puts the filter over you.
I've noticed a lot of in general, comics have avoiding politics as a whole. Like it, especially before this last election cycle, you could see like people weren't really as nervous about picking at people. And like me, I make fun of both sides, so it didn't really bother me. But yeah, like nobody touches it anymore. It's so weird.
I'm going to put forth
it's not that nobody touches it. I mean, I touch it, but
as a whole, he's talking about as a whole. Don't touch it.
But nobody sounds like nobody knows absolute. And there's still some of us who
there are some that still do it.
Yeah,
you're right.
TD's just getting warmed up because he knows he has a big fight.
I know. I'm not Blind Mike. I'm Crippled Steve. There's a fucking difference. We're not all the same.
It's just that I hate absolutes. I do not like it when people speak in absolutes.
All right.
Absolute. Well,
but he likes it when you drink Absolute and just talk shit.
I love to drink Absolute, especially Absolute Citron. That is like my go-to straight up shot thing.
Pretty
if
good.
I'm going to drink a straight up alcohol, it's Absolute Citron.
So, Amanda, have you been
dissolve some good brew in it? Good brew dissolved in Absolute Citron, the best thing for probiotic growth in your belly.
Probiotic. Amanda, have you been attacked by these podcast guys who just they live to attack comedians? Whether they just live to attack comedians. Have you been attacked yet?
No, not
Yes.
not in a well, I mean, I don't watch that many podcasts, to be honest.
Yeah.
I am still on X, Twitter, and I argue with people on there. And a lot of times the response is just to post a picture of my headshot because that's an insult in itself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, anytime you make it personal, making a personal attack, it's because you don't have a legitimate argument.
Yes. No, I get it. But there is this whole industry now. It's a segment of the podcasting industry, which is just to find comedians and to just tear them apart, overanalyze every joke word by word, and just take it apart. And that's who we have coming on at 11 o'clock, who has done this several times to GD. So we're looking forward to that. But they've done it to all of us. And it just they do it to some of the top names in comedy. It's just very weird how this is a thing. People are, and I'm to the point where I think anything negative sells. This is what if you're going on the negative path, if you're on the internet, this is the way to get clicks and views, which turns into monetization. So it's an ugly thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I'm the same way. I want to hear the gossip. I want to hear the dirt. I want to hear the bad shit. That's what's more interesting to me. So,
are you part of a clique? Because I think in comedy, more so than any other art form, you have to get in. It's like you have to get in a gang in order to kind of advance yourself. You have to be with a group, pick sides, right? Like almost like politics. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Knoxville, there's a couple different groups, and I try to kind of stay on good terms with both of them, but I don't think either of them are gonna reach out and claim me, so because I kind of sit on the fence rather than declare allegiance.
Yeah. Because I did a comedy music video a couple of days ago, and it's got some New York comedians on it and some West Coast comedians, and they don't like each other. There's a difference in style and all that stuff, but you can definitely tell who's like Boston, who's New York, and who's LA and all that stuff. You're right in the middle of all that. Do you even does any of that kind of resonate with you? This whole different styles, West Coast, East Coast nonsense, or?
I mean, honestly, I think it used to be LA and New York were kind of the dream for, the ultimate place to do comedy. But since, I guess in the last 5 years, Austin has just taken off. And honestly, it's, people are just talking about, oh, are you going to Austin? Oh, I went to Austin, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I don't hear much about somebody from New York might have more, street cred kind of, but I don't think anyone would say that person is necessarily better or worse than someone from California.
Well, conventional wisdom, as I understand it, at least as around here in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and I like to say Pennsylvania also.
I thought you were saying demilitarized zone or something.
Yeah, is that you go to New York to get good and LA to get famous. New York to get good, California to get famous, and I know around here, if you're a headlining comic in the Maryland, DC area, chances are you're going to get bumped for New York comics. They're down there. New York comics get the headlining gigs way more than Maryland comics, and most of them are not as good as the better. Listen, I'm not saying the New York comics that come down here to headline are not as good as the good Maryland, DC area headliners. But because they have New York comic attached to their name, people think they're better.
So why don't everybody just attach New York comic to their name, even though they're not from New York?
Well, it worked for we have one young lady who actually a Maryland comedian, and she went and lived in New York for 3 years and did comedy there. And when she came back, she was treated like a star. I mean, they were bowing down to her and everything. And it's not like she was now if she's listening, I love you. We're friends. But it's not like she was that much better. I mean, she was more, she was just New Yorkified.
Yeah.
And, I think what it is her sensitivity had been rubbed away. The wrong, whatever made her sore and calloused over in New York. So when she came back, she had calluses. So, but.
Amanda, now when I go to your website, the link is in the description. It's going past. Up in the title of the website, it says SK Weeds.
Yeah, I was going to ask her about that.
What gives?
So imagine it's 2001, and I want to have a username that no one else has. I want to make something that I'm going to have it on. I can use it on Yahoo and I can use it on Google. On all the different sites. So I made up Squeeds. It's just Squeeds. It sounds silly.
I had one of those. I had one of those back in the day. It was back when everyone wanted to be like a hacker and whatever. So I was like, I got to come up with a cool nickname, and it ended up being Addix. It was ADDIX, but like @DD1X.
I remember everybody wanted to be
in
a hacker.
2001, I was looking for something that nobody was using also. So mine was Can't Land a Plane. That's
that was being used by like 19 guys had that.
Yeah.
Unlike Nathan Fielder, I guess.
Yeah.
Who can land a plane.
Yeah. Well, now you know that we're supposed to have been 20, right? And you see, I'm still here.
What went viral on Instagram? I'm not on Instagram. Steven probably is. He's on there all day long. He probably.
I am on Instagram a lot, but yeah. What's this video that you got going viral?
Well, it's funny because I did a dirty show or a dark show last June in Johnson City, which is about an hour and a half northeast of here. And they recorded my set and they posted a video, and I didn't see it until like a week later. At that point, it had like 600,000 views. And then I was like, hey, actually, could you tag me in this? And, they tagged me. But at this point, it's gotten like 1.6 million views. And it's just a joke that I do on stage about my wrist.
Somebody else posted that a clip of you doing it. Are they monetizing it and not giving you any of it?
I mean, I don't know if they're making money off of it. It's weird because that theater that posted it, they like on their featured videos page, it has like several other features that are like pinned to the top, and that only have like 1,500 views. And I'm like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to pin the one that got the most views up, but
yeah. I am very cognizant of anytime I use somebody who is in the performing arts, giving them credit and linking to their website. So at least if I'm making 6 cents on it and they get angry about that, I can always say, well, I'm doing my best to promote you and putting it out there and giving you credit for it and linking to it. There is an epidemic of people who aren't even doing that, and they're monetizing it. I think it's not good for, at least send people to them, so that they can make a cent too for themselves, even if you're trying to make a living off it. Can you, now that you know what Instagram likes, can you replicate that or make it a process of going viral or getting those kind of hits, or you don't even concern yourself with that?
Honestly, like I don't like really posting my clips online. Mostly because I'm afraid, burning the material, once it's online, then anyone who goes to see me knows, my best stuff or whatever. And honestly, like I think I'd only really want to go viral if I was like posting a whole lot, but I don't really post that much. I just post when I have shows to promote.
See, as a curmudgeon boomer, I will say Rodney Dangerfield. I knew all Rodney Dangerfield's material, and when I went to see him live, he would do that same stuff, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't think this.
Jackie the Joke Man makes a whole living out of that.
Sorry, who does?
Oh, Jackie the Joke Man Martling. I mean, every joke he does, you pretty much know the jokes. It's just that when you see it live, it's like watching a best of or something like that.
So I think there's a paranoia about burning material that is not necessarily reality based. I don't think the audience cares that you've done this on the internet, and I might know where you're going with it. I enjoy because it's like music. You're not, or anything really. You're not buying the joke. You're buying the personality, the comedian. You're there to see them and the way they deliver it, and they make you laugh. The joke by itself, if I told it, probably wouldn't be funny. But it's because you're doing it, it's funny, and they love your personality. So I don't know. That's just my opinion about it. I don't think you have to worry about that. But did GD say in the beginning you don't want people sharing your YouTube clips? Is that what he said?
I just have that on my website, mostly just because I don't want this to happen again, where something suddenly has gone viral and I don't even know about it. because that was just like a blow, like I missed, the rise of it. But
well, you could set up alerts so that anytime anybody your name
true.
is used or comes up and anything somebody posts, Google will send you an automatic notification that somebody just posted this video of yours or something. I think it's a good. I mean, I would appreciate anybody sharing anything. I encourage it. I mean, whether it's my work stuff or whatever, share it. I mean, the more it gets out there, the more the algorithms tend to push people my way. So I don't know. We have different attitudes towards that. But one-liners. Are you a one-liner comic?
I like one-liners. I
love them.
I'm
I
a
do
fan.
too. I wish I could do more, man. Those are so much fun to listen to, though, with the right person doing it. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know many. I'm thinking of influences of women who were one-liner comic, because that when I think of one-liners, I think of Hedberg, I think of Stephen Wright, people like that. Who are there a lot of women who you can think of who have been one-liner comics? That
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can't think of any really.
I know of one locally. Her name's Stacy Stark. She's one of my favorites. She does some stories, but she's got a good list of like one-liners that are pretty good. She's a local comic, but she's a lot of fun. She's real dry, real like monotone when she talks.
That's a Stephen Wright thing.
But then she'll just drop these one-liners like, "My mom found out I was a lesbian. Now I'm pulling carpet for a living." Like it's just the weirdest things, but but it's just so much fun. I'm jealous of it.
Where are you based, Steven?
I'm in northern Indiana, so
cool.
Yep, so like Fort Wayne, South Bend, not too far from Indianapolis.
If you want, I can go grab my dad's Fort Wayne high school yearbook from 1968 over on the shelf over there.
Wow.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's Stephen's like 1968. You mean they were living in caves then, weren't
that was a year before my dad was born.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you been into in all 50 states? Have you performed in all? GB wants to headline in all 50 states.
So I'm not a headliner. I don't want to headline. I don't know why, but I just feel like I'd rather do like 20-minute sets than an hour. And I kind of don't want to become a headliner, but and it's easier to just get feature sets or opening sets. But I do it when I travel. So I've done like Texas, Vegas, New Mexico, Oregon. I did some when I was in Vancouver last year. Done several in Florida, and then of course in Knoxville, it's like the perfect place because we're in good driving distance of, Nashville, Louisville, Lexington, Asheville, Atlanta, a whole lot of different places. So it's a very centralized location here.
Now, you mentioned Austin because Austin is the Mecca now for comedians. In 1992, it became the Mecca for musicians, and now it's the Mecca for comedians. What I noticed in New York before Austin became big is people would go to New York and comedy clubs would give them stage time, but they had to do like some really not fun things. Like they had to be a barker. They had to go out on the street. Is Austin like that, or did they make you kind of run through some humiliating experiences before they give you any stage time?
I got lucky with that one because the what do you call it? Residency or whatever. Like I applied for that, and basically I didn't go to Texas until I knew I had shows lined up. And they didn't, make me bark or anything like that, which was nice. I don't know. I got to imagine that some of them must make their people do that because there's just so much, it's just so saturated there.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was getting to, because New York became, like GD said, you go to New York if you want to get kid. But then at one point you go to New York if you want to really just be really competitive with 7 billion other people who are going to New York to get good. And I think Austin has become that. And it comes to a line where it's too late. I've missed the first wave. It's not time to go there now because everybody's going to. And how do you differentiate yourself from the Willie Conways on the sidewalk? I'm sorry, Willie. I mean Stephen Ortiz is what I meant, not Willie Conway. You feel better about that? Yeah. All right.
Remind me to talk about a post that he just put out recently about a show that he's on.
Willie?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
No, it's a group that I'm persona non grata with now.
Why?
Is this a Barry Katz thing?
Oh no. Barry Katz.
Why are you persona? Why? What happened?
I don't want to take up Amanda's time. We'll talk about that after.
Well, I want to hear now. I told you I'm into the negativity. Let's hear it.
Yeah, spill the tea, bitch.
Wow. There is a comedy producer. Their show is called Sauce in the City. Sauce in the City. Right. And for a while I was like their go-to guy. Myself and the Reverend. We were like the two things that they had going.
I apologize for that right there.
Yeah. And well, the reason why I'm persona non grata is I had an agreement with them. If they ever lied to me, I was walking. They bring in new comics. I would like try to work with new comics to try to bring them up to speed because they had a regular show that they did on a regular basis, and they bring in these new comedians. And she wanted to make them like better comics, so she wanted me to work with them. Blah blah blah. And I said, I don't mind working with some of the guys. I won't work with all of them because some of them are just dicks and stupid, and I won't work with somebody who's a stupid dick. Won't do it. But and she blew me off on the show and lied to me about it. But she had double booked herself, but she had booked herself for 2 shows at the same time, mine and another, and didn't tell me that mine was canceled. It just didn't air it.
Wow.
And so it was supposed to go live, streaming live, and it didn't air. And I'm waiting to go on, because she was the producer and stuff. She was the one that made it go live and stuff. I just did the performing.
Right.
And blew me off. And so I told her, I said, look, I told you, if you ever lie to me, I'm done. I won't haggle over money. I won't haggle over time. I won't haggle over whose name is top billing. But if you lie to me, we're done.
Can we get to the part where Willie gets anally raped?
He doesn't get anally raped, but they're doing a show. And okay, I guess you guys know when I have a big show or a show that I think is important, I have a deck of cards made for that show.
Yeah.
And I give it to the people that's part of the show.
Yeah.
Well, she has decided to do that. Yeah, she has decided to do that. And so one of the deck of cards, I think Willie is on. And so he's like pushing, to try to get her the thing is, I give my cards away. She sells hers to fans. And so she's selling decks of cards, and Willie is trying to hawk the decks of cards, that he's on.
Well, Willie's on this card right here. There he is.
Gotti.
Ooh, that was a low blow. All right.
Now, if I was going to do that, I would have gone to deuce because it's a number 2, and it's also the lowest card in the deck. Jokers can be wild and funny.
All right. I apologize. Oh, I'm not a comedian like you are. I'm not
a comedian. I'm a humorist.
All right.
I'm a comedian, barely.
Amanda, do you use comedian as an introduction? Hi, I'm Amanda. Now, your last name is really Cruel.
Yeah,
that's cruel.
Yeah. No, I usually just say I do comedy because it's not like enough to make a living off of, but technically I do comedy. That is actually true.
Wow.
Now it's on my tax return, it says I'm a comedian. And so that's why sometimes I'll slip and say I'm a comedian, because for tax purposes, I'm a comedian. As far as natural performance style goes, I'm a humorist.
That's weird. I don't know. I got to look at my tax return. Does it say what I am on there? Because I'd like to know what I am.
You don't know what you are.
I have no idea what I am.
I need someone to tell me what I am. I don't know.
An asshole.
I am what I am.
There you go, Matt. It
wasn't, why would I say I am?
It probably says professional asshole.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So now, Amanda, how often do you travel? Do you stay in Knoxville, and then go on the road, take, plan, tours, or?
So, I usually, I typically have shows that I drive to, maybe once or twice a month that are within like a 2 or 3 hour drive. I've actually been like traveling on my own, like not for comedy. Like I just got back from Morocco, which was very cool. Not a comedy place though. But coming up next week, I'm actually going to Minneapolis for the Loons on the Lake Comedy Festival.
Oh, okay.
And I think Tuesday I might be able to stop up at in Madison and see if I can find like a mic to hop on there or something.
Oh, so you and Steven can hang out and Steven, aren't you near Madison? No?
Madison, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I'm on the way, I guess. Wait, where are you?
You were doing shows there. I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, not Wisconsin. Amanda, where are you at again?
Knoxville.
Knoxville. So, no, it wouldn't be really on the way because
Why did I think you were doing shows in Madison, Wisconsin?
I've never been to Wisconsin.
Damn, really? I could have sworn you were lecturing me about how nice it was there. Maybe that was Michigan.
Somebody else. It is pretty up there. There's this place called the House on the Rock that like my dad used to take me to when I was a kid, and I've tried to go there I guess last time I was there was 2016, so I'm looking forward to going back.
Wow. Is your dad still with us?
No.
No, don't you read the thing? He's dead. She does dad jokes and dead jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I apologize, Amanda. He doesn't.
No, you're good. You're good.
It went over my head. That was easy to do. So, the people in your life, are they supportive of your comedy thing? Because I know lots of comedians here who their families don't, and musicians as well, don't support it.
Yeah. Well, so like I have, my father's passed away. My mom is very, very, very supportive of my comedy career and very much encourages that. She lives in Key West, Florida. So when I'm down there, sometimes I can hop on at their comedy club. But she's kind of like a public figure, and she really likes having something she can brag about. So that's I was doing computer programming. She wasn't really able to get people impressed by telling them about my spreadsheets.
That's because the computers hadn't crashed. If they had,
does she have a spare room? And can I tell her I know you and go stay with her?
I don't even get to stay with her.
I love Key West. I love Key West. It's like,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm actually more of a Lamarada guy, but Key West.
Oh yeah.
My second best. Yeah. But yeah, if I wasn't stuck here, I would be there. That's
I have a niece in Key West. I'll give you her address. You can stay with her, Matt.
All right.
Okay.
Do you have a niece?
Actually, I would never trust Matt near my niece. No, you can't go near my
niece. I was gonna say that's a bold move, Cotton.
No.
Yeah. So now, I didn't even look. You got things coming up this week at all? Are you working steady every week? You got shows, Amanda?
Yeah. So like I said, I was out of town in Morocco, and then actually before that, I was in Mexico with my mom. But this spring I had a weekly show I was doing down in Gatlinburg called Pick to Booty. And that was basically, it's like it's an open mic where you do your set, but then you also play Pictionary and Taboo, where you pull a card and you either have to draw it and people guess, or you have to say the words and people guess it. And then you have the opportunity to like riff on any of the topics that you drew. It was kind of like convoluted, and the problem was we were having it in, Gatlinburg, which is it's a tiny town, and it's an hour away from like the biggest cities. So we didn't have a whole lot of people going to it, but it might be something that I'd be interested in doing in the future.
Yeah.
But right now, like I ended that so that they could run their comedy competition that they've got going on right now. So they've been doing that every Thursday, and I'm on their competition again on June 12th. And I think they're like the contest is going through July, and I might see if I can start Pick to Booty up after that.
Wow.
Just see if we can get that.
Am I wrong? It seems like you like festivals. I don't know what in your bio. I got the impression that you enjoy the whole festival routine, the idea of submitting and getting accepted and then traveling to being part of those big shows. Is that? Do I have the right impression on that?
Yeah, it's nice to have like something quantifiable because I can say I'm funny as much as I want. But hey, look, these other people approved and said I was funny, so it's not just me saying it.
Yeah. Have you given any thought to Montreal? Because I guess at some point Montreal Comedy Festival became the Austin, the mecca for festivals, the big one that everybody wants to do.
But Just for Laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing that. But when I was in Morocco, I met a couple women who live in Toronto, and apparently their scene is like really impressive up there. So I'd be interested in going to Toronto, but shit, I'd go anywhere. I think they speak French in Montreal. And I've never
They're terrible at it. I'm just teasing. I'm just joking.
Well, it's funny because I was in France with my mom in January, and there was this Irish pub, and I just like walked into it, and there were people talking, and there's somebody talking on stage, and I was like, "What is this?" And it took me a minute to figure out, oh wait, this is comedy, because I guess they just don't laugh as much during their jokes.
That's kind of like GD's show. When people walk in there, they say, "Oh wait, this is."
There's some. Their comedy setups are different in different parts of the world.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I think like in Japan, I think the punchline is before or is it Germany? The punchline is actually before the setup. It's I know, but
I never trust a German setup.
Well, can I give you guys a German joke? What's red and bad for your teeth?
Being a Nazi?
A brick.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But you call that a German joke, but where I grew up, that's just the wrong neighborhood joke. I grew up in Baltimore.
To me, that was just like training wheels where I lived. This is the idea.
These teeth are not this perfect on purpose. This is my second attempt at life with these things.
Well, they look great.
Thank you. $10,000 worth of work here.
I whitened them.
You said something that slipped by me there. You said I don't really want to be a headliner. I think if there's one person in comedy who does not want to be a headliner, it's you. Almost everybody I talked about, I don't know. And I'm like, what is the real dividing line there? It's just a sense of belonging, right? I should be the headliner. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Can you elaborate on why you don't want that? Is it the pressure of the show being all about you? And I don't know.
I'd say it's partially that pressure. But the other thing is, so I used to produce more often, and I still get emails all the time from people like, "Hey, I'm a traveling comic. I'm looking to put on a show," and for me, like, that's annoying, and I hate having to see that. And I know if I'm trying to headline, then I'm going to be the one emailing people and either annoying them, or maybe I'm giving them what they want. But at the same time, it's a lot more competition, I guess. And honestly, I feel like, I just don't feel like I want to, monopolize a full hour. I don't know. I'm saying this out loud and realizing it sounds kind of weird as I'm saying.
Oh, you're right. This is the psychologist's office, and we welcome you on our couch anytime. Just see the receptionist; she'll set you up with your next appointment. No, I appreciate understanding this thing, because I don't know. I think everybody who ever gets into show business pictures themselves on the big stage under the spotlight, and that's what. Listen, features also get raped as far as the money goes forever. And you might say, well, we don't get in art for the money. Yeah, you don't. But at some point, you want to be respected and you want to get decent money. Feature money has not changed since 1972, I think. It's still the same, and you have to take it. That's a degrading thing when you go out and you perform, you do your best stuff. And then here's a beer. We're going to pay you in a beer and a hamburger or something.
Weed.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, Amanda. So what's the oddest, other than cash? What is the oddest currency you've been paid in?
Well, there's actually a woman in town her name is Allie Simpson. She's originally from Maine, but she is a farmer. So she pays us with farm goods. We got eggs the last time, which is very exciting.
Well, that's better than cash.
Yeah, I know.
What part of Maine? My wife's from Maine.
I'm not sure where in Maine she's from, but we have a family friend just said he's up in Bethel and he just bought a house there and he wants us to go visit Bethel. So.
It's the place by the Moose. That's all you have to know in Maine. It's the place by the Moose.
Well, not every place in Maine is by a moose. Okay, they have places where they
they probably have Elks Lodges, Moose Lodges. You know,
they have a couple of nudist colonies.
Wow, that's got to be
That's for the summer.
Because they only get like 1 month a year to actually have go out naked, right?
Oh, I came this close to performing at one. But...
This close. It's just convenient.
I was
it's a
going to be there.
Size,
yeah, I was gonna. No, I didn't.
All right.
I don't like nudist colonies.
I just need pockets. I want pockets.
Yeah,
and actually, I liked them when I was younger and in better shape.
Me too.
Yeah, now that I'm older, I don't even want to see this. So I don't want anybody else to have to see this either. And the weirdest thing is my wife will say, you could do the senior circuit. I'm like, I don't want to do the senior circuit.
I have to respond to this. I saw it come up before, and I was like, what? This comment that slapped down me. Does anyone over 30 care if their family supports their comedy? I don't even think about it, and it never occurred to me. Well, while that totally resonates with me, it's the idea that if they don't support it, they can go really negative. And every time you see them, they have to say, "Oh, you're still doing that comedy? When are you going to do to get a regular job?" And that's you would think you couldn't help think about it because they nag you. People who are non-supportive are very aggressively non-supportive. People who are supportive are passively supportive. So I think there's that. People who deal with negative people who are just telling you give up on that pipe dream. That's not going to happen. What are you trying to? What do you think you're kidding?
Well, I don't need. Okay, well, everybody knows this. I started at 55, so I never thought I'd be a headliner, and I never thought I'd be famous or anything like that.
Oh, well,
so I didn't set out, huh?
Save that for when Blind Mike gets to you. That whole that dissertation you were just giving us. That's
he should already know if you read his emails. He knows already.
Oh,
I sent it already. I don't know.
Oh shit!
I don't know if I said the thing I never expected to be a headliner, but I never expected to be famous. That's why I record everything, because I expect to be dead before anybody gives a shit about me.
It's possible.
Now, I guess we're going to go here now. When you don't know this about you, I don't know if you know this about GD. Of course you don't know this about GD. When he was like just brand new in performing comedy stuff, he decided to do a 90-minute special with the word special in it. Do you have any we talked about your ambition toward being a headliner. Are you thinking in terms of writing a half-hour special, something a piece of product? Are you concerned with that? Are you locked up?
Oh, me? I wasn't sure if you're talking to.
No. I was talking to you.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I think I the other thing is I do some of the one-liners, and then I have a bunch of short jokes, and I think headlining is better if you're doing long jokes, and I don't have any jokes that are more than like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing about like having a special is you would want it to be cohesive and along a theme and make sense, and that's not typically the way my sets go. Not great with segues, but
I think you're thinking of ways it used to be, because that used to be the case, but now it doesn't. It seems like people are just going up there and just I can stretch this for an hour and just talk for an hour and whatever. It doesn't seem like there's anything special or thought about the production theme wise, thematic wise, any of that kind of stuff.
Just be entertaining for an hour, so that when my philosophy is very simple. Obviously, I'm not famous, so and nobody has to take my word or my advice whatsoever. But as far as I'm concerned, a good show is when people walk away, even if they don't remember your jokes, they walk away and they had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk away, they say things like, "Holy shit, that was 90 minutes. It didn't feel like 90 minutes. Holy shit, that was 2 hours. It didn't feel like 2 hours."
Yeah.
To me, that's the whole thing. And I agree. I know that bookers don't feel that same way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear it a lot from bookers saying to me things like, "We don't get what you do. We don't understand." It's like, well, the audience does.
Yeah.
You don't have to. The audience gets me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As far as the one-liner thing, I was always surprised that Stephen Wright had like an hour, because if you put all his material together, that for almost 40 years now, I bet you'd be hard pressed to come up with an hour of because it's so fast.
That's it. He talks very slowly though, so he drags what most people say in 6 seconds. He says in like 15 seconds.
Yeah,
it's the same. You're like, I was in a car and I was drinking, and I went to my house and I put my car key in the door, and my door started up, so I drove it around the block. The average person would have said that.
Well, like Mitch Hedberg was a headliner.
Right.
Mm.
And he was pretty much
talking about
one-liners the whole time.
filling an hour special. And again, I think 40 years of Stephen Wright's material. I think I've heard all his material, and I think that's 1 hour. 1 hour. Whereas I couldn't see how you get a second hour out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be like, if you're driving at the speed of light and you turn your lights on, would you see anything like that? Oh yeah, right. So, but yeah. Now, do you have bigger ambitions beyond the stand-up stage? Are you thinking of film, sitcoms? I mean, any of that kind of stuff?
I mean, I think, that would be nice if it came to me, but like my sister actually, she studied theater in school. She moved to LA to be an actress, and she's trying to do that, and it's not really happening for her. I can't imagine it would be easier for me, but I think the other thing is, at this point, like, part of not wanting to be a headliner is just, I don't want to work that hard. I see it's a lot of hard work, and I'm still having a good time without working.
I love and appreciate that you can say that.
Yeah, I love it too. I mean, this is my attitude towards life is I don't really I've never wanted to work too hard. And I think this is probably why I am who I am. I just don't, I want everything to be fun. And the minute everything's not fun, I shy away from it.
Well, I know the headlining is like a lot of responsibility. I know the very first time I saw my name on the marquee as like the guy that everybody was coming to see, I felt so much pressure. And before that, I didn't feel the pressure, because it was like I was never playing at a place where there was like a marquee. There'd be like a flyer or a poster in a window. But this was like a marquee, and people could see it all up and down the street as they drove by. G.D. Fenderson live. I'm like, holy shit! And I felt the pressure that I had to be like the guy for everybody on the show. I felt like responsible from like the host. And that's not the truth. You're not. I mean, the host was so good at what he did. It made it great. It made it easy for me. And then the other performers, or the opener and the feature, they were so good at what they did. It made it easy for me. If they sucked, it would have been. But it was like, there was really, all that pressure was imaginary.
Blind Mike's saying it's making him sign in. Can I send him a different link? I don't know. What is that?
He's probably using his phone. And he's probably trying to get through the
right.
Yeah, he's got to be using his phone in the app again.
I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back, like in 4 minutes.
All right.
Number 1 or number 2?
Yeah, what the hell's going on with that? I don't know what to do here. Stephen, can you contact Blind Mike through Twitter and kind of explain this, what he's got to do?
Through Twitter? Yeah. Let me.
I'm just going to send him
what is that? His name on there?
Hold on, I'll get you his thing.
Is his name on Twitter? Blind Mike.
I'm looking. Boy, everything's so slow on this damn computer. Where is he over here? I'm sorry, Amanda, to take away from. So we want to promote what you're doing and what you're all about. But I got to handle some back stuff, because my friend Steven, my technician, my millennial guy who, you guys are boomers, he doesn't know how to do anything. Are you on all the platforms?
No, I'm on X. I just don't know Blind
Mike, at Blind Mike. Pretty simple. I'm sending him the link right now.
Well, I asked if that was his name on X. You didn't answer me.
Because I was trying to open it to see. And how difficult it is to put in Blind Mike and
There's
see.
more than one Blind Mike on X.
There's 5.
That's why I asked, because there's like 50 of them. All right, I think I found him though.
Blind Mike's penis.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we could talk about, because are you still active in politics? You obviously still care about it, right?
Yeah, I care about it. It's interesting because where I'm at in Knoxville is like kind of especially unique because so our representative in the House is named Tim Burchett, and he's a big MAGA guy, but he's like different, and he's called like the comedy king of the GOP. He's a funny guy. He's really into like aliens and Bigfoot, that's interesting. And then our county mayor is a former WWE wrestler. His name is Glenn Jacobs. He was Kane was his wrestling name. Yeah, so that's our county mayor. So politics here are kind of interesting.
Friends with him on Facebook. We've been one of my favorites.
He's a cool dude. He's funny. He's a funny guy, and he's nice. And he's pissing off people on both sides, which I think means you're doing it right. So
I'd like to get your perspective on something that I've been saying I haven't said it on this program, but I've been saying to people in conversations about this, because people talk about the left and the right. Oh, you're a lefty. I don't think the left and the right exist anymore, or Democratic Party and the Republican Party as I knew them exist anymore. I put it this way. You are either fascist or anti-fascist. Pick one.
Yeah.
And it's hard for somebody, as much as the Republican Party seems to embrace fascism, it's hard for them to say I'm fascist, but they cannot say I'm anti-fascist.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we are. The left, the traditional left and right, Republican, Democrat, doesn't exist, because a lot of people I knew who were Republican before, like the whole Heritage Foundation or National Review people, they were hardcore Republicans their whole life. But I know since 2016, a lot of them have voted Democrat for the last 3 elections. So I don't think those parties. What's your take on it? Do you think the traditional left and right are still a thing, or do people just throw those words around?
They're trying to make it about left and right, but really it's just about elites versus everybody else.
Right.
And what MAGA has been so successful with is convincing people that they are about the little guy. And the people who voted for MAGA, 99% of them are not doing it because they think, rich people should get everything and poor people deserve nothing. They're just doing it because they falsely believe that that's the best thing for poor people. They falsely believe that MAGA is the party of the people, when it really just exists to help out the billionaires and all of, Trump's giving away pardons to people who pay millions of dollars, whatever. It's, I just think the issue is there's a lot of people who don't realize that they're supporting a fascist.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that if Trump keeps fucking things up the way he has been, at some point people are going to realize, oh, this isn't what I wanted, And so I think that most of the people, I don't think half of the country is actually fascist. I think they've just been lied to for the most part.
A lot of people are also delusional. I remember back during Bush 2, when Bush 2,
W.
Yeah, W. No, I'm sorry. When this is when Obama was running against McCain, so it's after Bush. They did a survey, and 75% of the people in this country believed that they were in the top 10% earning So that's 75% believed they were the top 10% earners. That's how delusional they were.
Yeah.
So when like McCain or Romney or anybody who says we're for the rich guy, these people thought they were the rich guys, even though they are like, no, they're talking like the top 5%.
Well, if your trailer has a nice swimming pool,
double wide. I know if you have a double wide trailer, then you are in the top 90. You're in the upper 90 percentile of trailer park people.
Yeah, the other day I posted this thing on Facebook. It was Joe Biden about 18 months ago in front of. I don't think it was State of the Union, but he was in front of Congress, so it might have been. But he was saying the Republicans wanted to cut Medicaid, and they was yelling, "You liar!" They were standing up. Now, obviously, they're in that calling him a liar. They're admitting that cutting Medicaid is not good, right?
Exactly.
But this is one thing so they call him a liar, and now they're here trying to cut Medicaid. And this guy I know since kindergarten, first grade, went on my page and said, well, Democrats are all morons. Morons are going to be morons. I said, you got left back in first grade. So don't, and I know this about you, but you understand this. You are cheering and supporting people who, I know he's 65 years old. He's on Medicaid right now. He's cheering for people who are stealing his money and defending them against the people who are trying to stop the people from stealing his money and calling those people more. Oh, dare these morons try to save my money. It just, I don't know how we got to a place where people will cheer.
Hey, Blind.
What? What are you saying?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted. I was talking out loud to myself. Blind Mike isn't responding to me.
All right. Well, he just responded to me. Same issue. You have to set it to private. No, well, I don't know.
What is he talking about?
I don't know. Set it to private.
See if you can give him my cell phone number, and I'll walk him through it.
That's too much work. Okay, give him your cell phone number.
Okay, obviously, Stephen, he's not going to send him your cell phone number. So just give your cell phone number over the air, because obviously he can hear it.
No, I don't know if he could hear it. He's not listening.
Stephen's cell phone number is 717. No, I'm just teasing.
You guys talk to Amanda while I fix it.
Speak American.
So Amanda, yeah, the comedy scene where you are in Nashville and stuff like that. I mean, well, let's put it this way: you've traveled around the country, and so you have your style of comedy. Is there any particular place where you have to make a bigger adjustment than someplace else because of the makeup or
Honestly, I think I'm kind of lucky in that where I'm at right now is kind of the roughest that crowds kind of get, so because people, I don't have blue hair or anything, but I think people look at me and they see liberal woman, and that kind of turns a lot of people away. But that's mostly here, and once you get outside of the South, it's a lot easier in certain places.
Stephen's cell number is on every bathroom wall in the Midwest. In case, but Blind Mike is not
Call
in
for a good time.
He is in Boston, I believe. Anyway, I sent him your cell phone number. I don't know if he's going to call. This is frustrating. Anyway, so the whole politics thing. I just think it's just gotten so bizarre that black is white and white is black and day is night and night is day, and basically I'm hearing I'm never going to be part of the Democratic Party, but I hear Republicans just projecting, oh, they're totalitarian and authoritarian. The Democrats, they're the ones. I think this is ass backwards. What am I? Yeah. So who knows how we get out of this, if we ever get out of this. You think when Trump dies, the Republican Party will go back to some semblance of what it used to be?
I can't imagine that they will not take a Trump death as suspicious. He's in his 80s, but if he dies during office, no one is going to just believe that it was natural causes. They're going to.
Well, let's just say that JD Vance will be the first suspect. He's already killed off a pope.
Yeah, exactly.
His hands are already dirty with the Pope, and I'm not convinced that he didn't have something to do with the disappearing cats and dogs in wherever it was.
Yeah, he's squirrely for sure.
Oh, I think he's calling me. Give me a second.
So now I'm glad we're talking about this because the suspicious thing dies in office. This reminded me of Dan Boingo, Boningo, whatever his name is.
Dan
Bongino. Yeah, Boingo, Bongino. He, for 5 years, had a podcast where he every day practically would talk about Epstein not killing himself. It's all a deep state operation. Now he's saying that now that he's the assistant deputy director or whatever, of the FBI, he's saying he definitely killed himself. And yesterday he was on Fox and Friends, and this is what he said. There's videotape. Oh, there's videotape of him killing himself? No, not of him actually killing himself. It's of the cell, and you can see that he's alone. We enhanced it, but we're giving you the original. We don't want you to think there's any phony business here, but we enhanced it. But it's not of him actually killing himself. It's to prove that he was alone. Now, this is where it doesn't make sense. If you got a videotape that shows him alone, and he just ends up dead, like he's sitting there alone and then he's dead, like what? How does that happen? If you have a videotape, and especially if you made it clearer, you should be able to see him doing the act. But he keeps saying, no, it's not of him actually. You don't see him doing the actual act. You just see that he's alone and then he's dead. Like, that doesn't make any. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, I haven't seen the video, but if let's say the camera has can only see like the window inside the door, through the door. And
Right.
So when he's sitting if he's sitting on the toilet or on the bed, you can see him. But if he's off to the side hanging himself, you can't because the window isn't that wide.
But fine, then you can't tell that he's actually alone if you can't see the whole
Well,
frame.
if you don't see him, I'm just saying, if the camera's on the door, then you can see anybody coming and going. So if you don't see anybody coming, you assume that you assume that he's alone.
Still, that footage could be manipulated.
Well, I agree. I'm just trying
it makes
to
sense. Like, yeah, if you've got it showing the entrance and you don't see anyone going in or out, but
yeah.
In the same sentence, he's saying it's not manipulated. He's saying we enhanced it, so then you had to manipulate it, right?
Yeah.
We don't want anybody thinking there's any funny business here. Now, why would, unless you're covering up for your guys, why would anybody suspect?
See, here's one of the problems with the conspiracies mainly the ones they're on both sides, but I'm going to talk about the ones on the right. They may have like a grain of truth about something, and they blow it so much out of proportion. Like, let's take Hunter Biden's laptop. There may very well have been some issues there, but their spokespeople are like Rudy Giuliani, Dan Bongino, people who are Alex Jones, people who have no credibility. So even if they walked up to me and said, GD, your pants are on fire, will probably burn because they are not very credible things. Now, I say, oh shit, it's too late. Now, I am on fire. But their messengers are all contaminated with lies and conspiracies.
Can I just
I've walked too many times.
Can we clarify? Are your pants on fire?
No, I'm just hot.
Oh, all right.
Hot pants.
Steven, is Blind Mike calling you? No, he's not.
Mike. I see his lips moving. So
No.
when he's not freezing,
We talked, and I'm not sure what issue he's having. He says he's on Google Chrome. Oh, yeah, he said he'd call me back if he couldn't get through.
This sucks. I wanted to see GD cry. Didn't you want to see GD cry?
Are you really surprised though? This is the bit. This is a bit with somebody like this because they can't back up what they say, and you confront them, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't do this. I can't.
So you're not Blind Mike. I thought you were Blind Mike just popping in here.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but
are you the guy next door?
Dave Attell.
Okay.
He asked if it was set to private, and I'm like, well, no. We've had our guests showed up. Carl Man just jumped in. I didn't say that, but Carl Man. I was like, no, we've had people jumping in and out all day.
That's the work. That's the type of work that dudes like this do.
Dudes. Amanda, you didn't have to sign in.
Par for the course.
No, I just clicked on the link and it didn't have me sign in. It just had me type in my name.
Oh,
yeah, see, that's.
I'm smelling a rat. Do you smell that rat?
Maybe I need to leave so he can enter in case it's just like a one-person link.
No, we
can have up to.
No, he's just making an excuse.
People on this.
This is normally what people do. They can't handle confrontation. It's easy to do it behind the screen, but I get it.
Slaptail doesn't even show anyway. How about that? Exactly.
He's calling back. Give me a second.
Oh, you're doing. I thought somebody was hitting a bong.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Now,
my original bong that I made out of mason.
Would you consider being on Weed World just for a 5-minute, 10-minute call? I have a new channel, Weed World, where I'm asking people questions about marijuana, their use, and all that kind of stuff. Would you consider doing that for me? Like,
I would love to do that. That sounds like fun.
yeah, it's just kicking off. I have a couple of things. Now, yesterday I went to the Poospatuck. Do you pay full price for your weed? Because we have a native reservation there. Everybody's white or black there. There's no real Native American. They're all like Elizabeth, whatever. But so you go there, and the prices are like a quarter of what they are in like regular dispensaries. But yesterday I stopped by one, and I was telling the guy he has to tune in to see this interview I did with Richie. Turns out this was Richie. So he's thinking, wow, this guy's a really fucking stoner. He doesn't remember that I'm the guy he interviewed last week. Yeah. What are you not buying? My story or the Blind Mike?
He's no. He said it's weird. He uses it every day. He's not sure what's happening.
Yeah, I know what's happening. It's a work, and you're still wasting time even talking about this guy. This is the work.
I'm not talking about him. I was talking about Poospatuck and the weed.
It just proves that some people cannot back up what they say. You should move on, gentlemen. That's how you have. You have to punish
agree
people.
With him, Ron. I think.
I'm not stuck on it. He just called me to get.
Well, no, I'm just suggesting is that you need to punish, and this is how you punish. Move them to the DTM list and move on.
All right. So, bottom line is, I'm going to talk to Amanda about weed on Weed World. I'm going to tell you. I'll get in touch with you today. Just for 5. It's like harmless questions. They are. It's like a lightning round.
Sounds good.
All right.
I can
cool.
do it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here. We're going to let you go right now.
Thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
AmandaCruel.com. It's very cruel.
Mm-hmm.
But we appreciate you being here. Good luck. And hopefully I'll talk to you soon on Weed World.
Weed World.
All right. Bye for now.
See ya.
Wow, that's loud. How come that one was so
loud? To hit that. I was trying to.
The fuck yeah?
Yeah, I was trying to relocate it. I was trying to move it so all my church stuff was together.
You know what I want? Because Amanda, she was talking about producing. Matt Nussbaum, who was the producer on this show. I don't know my show last night that didn't happen. I don't know how long he's been in producing stuff. It seems like anybody who gets into producing stuff, they're just setting themselves up for a world full of fucking headaches and fucking agita and people not showing and all this stuff. Why would anybody do it at this point? When you see,
you need to ask Ron. He's right there. Don't talk
right.
about him.
That's who I was kind of asking him, but he just seemed distracted he was looking up Big Mike. What is it? A Blind Mike? Whatever. Why even bother producing with all these fucking flakes out there?
Because for me as a producer, a show producer and stuff, I use a firm hand for my shows. So if you're not going to come to play and go by my fucking rules, too bad.
No, GD's trying to mock you with some kind of emotion that appears. I don't know.
No, I would never mock Ron to his face. That's not.
No, so I've been doing shows, producing shows for a little over 4 years now, and I only have 2 or 3 comics on my banned list that I would never bring back.
Wow, that's not bad. That's actually very good. That's a very good
ratio. I mean, the one person is like, I told them don't use notes on stage, and they use notes. So that's a check for me. Then the performer showed up like drunk and was just like terrible and on fucking whatever. And so it's like, goodbye. See ya.
Well, I have to say I'm disappointed. Most no shows I just take with a grain of salt. I expect it. But I kind of thought today was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ron's right, man. Because he said he uses it every day. He's on Chrome. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, there's no reason it should be prompting anything then. And even if it is, log in.
Yeah.
Fucking click on your YouTube link and log in with your YouTube then.
Yeah,
I don't understand what the issue is.
The problem is simple. Someone can't back up what they say. And the reality of
back up what he said, because he doesn't say anything that needs backing up. It's just his opinion that GD isn't funny. I mean,
but but saying that online versus doing it to someone's face is a lot different.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. That's
Yeah,
not
100%.
a question of backing up. He's just cowardly and doesn't want to face the man he's been criticizing face to face.
Yeah, because
That's what it seems
like for me personally, I can trash GD here or behind his back or to his face. It's fine.
Yeah, and no matter what, I don't see what the point is of. Okay, I don't find a certain comedian funny. That happens, but why do you feel like you have to not let people find out that for themselves? Let them watch and see if they think he's funny or not. Why do you feel like you have to preempt that, take that choice away from them? Do you think you're doing a service? Like I'm saving people the time and energy of going to see this guy?
I think that's what it is. It's a hero complex. They want to be like, oh, I'm saving you time and money. Don't go see this guy, blah, 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 which is bullshit because comedy is fucking subjective. So
is it that, or is that there's just there's more chance for monetization, clicks and views for anybody who goes negative? So it's not really that I feel like I'm doing.
I mean, maybe both.
Well, and it's also easy to punch down. So easy.
Hey, I'm not down.
Okay. Blind Mike, translate this from text to speech. You are a pussy. You are not worthy to even listen to GD. I am the beaver man. Remember the name. Remember my name. What was his name?
Well, he can't remember the name if you don't read it right.
I know. Braver Man, was that his name? The Brave Man?
I am the Beeve Man. Remember the name.
Well, this is disappointing. And I made a promise to people that we would see GD cry. GD, could you cry?
I started off the show crying.
That wasn't a real cry. I mean, a real
Yeah, he
cry.
did this morning.
I mean, think of a time when, let's just say you cut your own foreskin off and threw it in a pan because you were out of bacon. You cried then, didn't you? You laughed? You laughed when you did that? That's fucking evil. You cut your own foreskin off, threw it in a pan.
You think I would do that without a sedative?
Oh. So what?
It sounds like Matt's been on the dark web lately.
A sedative. How do you? Because if you're cutting near your dick, you don't want to be drugged up and on a sedative. How do you know you're not going to cut the whole tip off? I would not recommend.
Right.
If you're going to cut your own foreskin off, do not take a sedative first. Maybe a local anesthetic. Somebody I know who doesn't want me talking about their thing she works in a nursing home, if that helps narrow it down. She was talking about an old man who has tattoos all over his junk, but not on the shaft of his dick. And I was like, well, that makes sense. You wouldn't. First of all, who would want to get all those fucking needles in your dick? But also, the tattoo, you have to get it when it's erect, right? Because it changes size.
Well, on top of that, it's just like your face. You don't want to tattoo your face.
People are doing that though, like tattoos and jelly roll.
I don't know who.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean there's people who should do that.
No, I agree. But on your dick is a whole different fucking thing because it's gonna, even while the needle, it changes sizes. Like mine just changed size 4 times while I'm saying this. It's just soft. You don't want needles in your dick. Believe me, I've had a drill bit in you're talking to a guy who's had a drill bit in his dick. You don't want a needle.
No.
Oh no.
Next time, slow it down when you say it next time.
Black and record.
My dick.
Mannequin pussy.
So I guess we're gonna. I guess we're gonna abort this. No. Continue to Facebook, continue to YouTube. What the fuck? He's just saying, it's just asking him to continue to
I
YouTube.
don't. Why can't he? Oh, Jesus
the
fucking
host
Christ.
Asked you to. Hold on. Let me see if there's something. The host doesn't ask him to.
None of this is making sense.
Oh, here you go.
Because because the link that I sent is the same link I sent to
Carl, and it worked. So
all right,
What do you mean? It makes perfect sense.
Carl, man.
It makes perfect sense.
I'm going to tell him try one more because I just took off guest must authenticate. I don't know why that guest must authenticate. Most people are logged into YouTube already, I guess.
Oh, so maybe you did do it.
Maybe I did. Oh, now Ron's going to feel
Son
bad
of a
for
bitch.
accusing him
Button
of
pushing motherfucker. Button pushing motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I could care less either way.
Yeah. Oh, care less. But you,
Ron really couldn't care less at all. He really doesn't. Ron's my hero.
This is a thing. This care less. Did you say I could care less or couldn't care less?
It doesn't matter. The one that I don't give.
Joe
I don't give a fuck at all. This is
I don't
two
give
guys.
a fuck at all. It's much more plain language.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
is that better?
These grammar idiots who say, "Oh, it's I couldn't care less," not I could care less. When both are correct, if you take into account sarcasm, I could care less. If you add sarcasm to that, it's really saying I couldn't care less. But people are just hung up on this grammar correction.
It's an old wives' tale.
Yeah. I wonder how we're doing on Kick today. Does anybody you guys use Kick? Anybody you know use Kick?
Like the messenger?
I've heard. Well, no. There's Kick Messenger, but there's also a Kick streaming platform, which supposedly, according to people who've jumped from Twitch to Kick, they pay more. So
supposedly it's better, especially when you're meeting strange men in parking lots in the evening hours.
No, it's not a messenger service, Ron. It's a streaming platform.
What makes them strange? Just because they're in a parking lot? That doesn't make a guy a strange guy.
Well, you can't stream from a parking lot. Come on, you gotta have that hook to bring in the audience.
I have
we fucking suck in parking lots.
I have a paint show on June 8th that is going to be in a parking lot. I'm actually looking forward to this. It's a Sunday community event. What was that?
My wife
Sunday.
My wife was just in here cleaning out the oven, and that was the best show that I've seen all morning.
Wow.
We could have made a snuff video. It would have been a lot of fun.
All right. This has been a major disappointment. Major disappointment. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cry. It's Friday. Ron, you're performing tonight?
Nope.
Steven is performing oral sex in a parking lot by Ace Hardware in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Anybody want to get tickets? They are actually he'll pay you to come.
73 cents to come.
I went to this mix mic last Sunday, and I went there like months and months ago, and the guy got complaints from this like one woman about my set because I said the word pussy.
Wow.
And yeah, maybe because
of all just once.
Probably a couple times, but it made me laugh because it's like, oh, she's upset about pussy, but considering
hold on a second,
some of
we're gonna try something here.
The other shit that I talked about, she's like, that's all right. So the host's like, hey man, can you just back it off a little? Everyone in here should be cool. But then I went out, I hit my pen a couple times, and I forgot that he told me that, and I just went into the pussy bits again. Hey,
wow.
I'm
pussy seems like in 2025 that word should be widely accepted. In 1965, James Bond was doing pussy galore movies, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, and then Trump had the pussy tape before in 2015 that was released. And the weirdest thing is people, for the first few hours, there were people on the news saying pussy and then doing the disclaimer. And then they had to immediately back off and start saying the P word or lady parts. And it's like, no, you're quoting him.
I would not be surprised if this woman who was offended by Ron saying pussy was a Trump voter. Right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of it.
That's so
because
wild.
I've noticed, especially in this area, like the old whites the old whites now think they're empowered, that they can say whatever they want, cry. It's like things have moved on.
So yeah, we'll give them like
significantly.
We'll give them 2 more minutes and then we'll end this fucking thing. But I just want to. Do you guys agree with me that we should kind of force the issue when people say left and right? That say no, you're either fascist or anti-fascist. Which one are you?
No, I don't look.
Are you a rightist or are you a leftist?
It's just fucking labels. I mean, let's find out what they actually believe.
No, but I agree. It's just labels, but they're trying to like force labels upon people. And if we're going to play that game, here's what the labels are: fascist or anti-fascist. I'm definitely willing to say I'm on the anti-fascist side. What side are you on? If they can't say fascist, can they say fascist? Can they come out and say I'm a fascist?
I mean, I'm not.
You can. It's America. You can do whatever you want. That doesn't mean it's right.
If somebody wants to label me or label you, or
we have breaking news.
I don't have a problem with correcting people, so that
we have a breaking news story that has to correct you right now. Breaking news from somewhere in like Michigan or something. Beaverman's here.
Kalamazoo.
Breaking news: Blind Mike is a pussy. Steven just sent me the link. I was able to hop on immediately. There you go.
Wow. I feel like, all right.
Now, this is the Beef Man. Remember that name?
Yeah, pussy.
And also, the Beef Man was interviewed on Dumb Way Past Funny. Those episodes were just released this past weekend. So check them out. All three parts, a 90-minute interview with the Beef Man on Dumb Way Past Funny on YouTube.
There it is.
Coming to Smart TV and Knob TV on Roku.
So,
and now I must,
Beef Man, now you are, I assume you're married to a woman. You're a heterosexual guy, right? Yes?
That is correct.
So, no.
Yes, that's correct.
That's fine. I mean, Ron's bisexual. We know he's trying to convince the rest of the world to become bisexual. But what is your, why are you so dedicated to the Pride cause? What makes you aggressive or pursuing that as
an ally?
I think it's mostly because when I was in the Army, it was so we were totally against that, and so I was during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and there were obviously people that were gay when I was in the military. Obviously, there's like 1 out of 16 people, so we would always make fun of it. Like, there's 32 of us, 2 of you are gay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I got out, when I was working in the civilian population, I encountered 2 gay people like immediately, which freaked me out. And then after a while, I was like, God, I really need to be more open-minded because that's growth. So if I look back at the way I was 30 years ago and the way I am now, I'm very kind of ashamed of the way I am, but it's everywhere. So if you have a family member that is gay and you're not accepting, you're a piece of shit, basically. So
good for you. Good for you. No, it's very unusual, and
I agree.
And this is, to your credit, it's unusual for somebody to take up a cause or be active about a cause that they are not part of. So good for you. Blind Mike is here. Blind Mike is here. Let's get.
All right. Well, let me pop out, and you're still a pussy. All right. Bye.
Oh, all right. Well, pop. Blind Mike. Good morning, Blind Mike.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Okay, let me start. Are you really blind, or is that just like a nickname? I know you got the dark glasses, but it seems like you can watch stuff and read titles and stuff. And are you really blind?
Yeah, I'm legally blind.
Legally blind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But does that mean you have some sight?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Now I don't know if you can tell up in the my right hand corner, GD Fenderson is here. Now I know. I only knew about you. GD actually had let me know about you. This guy's bashing us, and then I went and watched an episode a couple of months ago, and it didn't seem like you were bashing us at all. It sounded like you were saying some negative things about him, but about us in general, you weren't. But I would be fine if you were. But is there some? He's been featured more than once on your program. Is there something about him that you just don't? You want to get
no, you say bashing. I have no animosity towards GD. I find his comedy captivating. Found him through Tom Myers, and I just think it's funny to make fun of. Like we're in the midst of his comedy special, and there's a lot of lines that I find baffling. And it is, I will say this, like I'm a fan on some level because I find it so interesting. Like there are lines that we spend 15 minutes trying to figure out what he means exactly. So I just find him to be an interesting comic.
Well, I think we go through that every day here with trying
Sure,
to
I
figure
imagine.
out
Yeah.
what he means here. But yeah, all right. So that's a whole different perspective. But do you find that? Do you feel like it's necessary to or you want a mission to save people time? With this, your motivation? Are you trying to save people from having to watch this special? I'll be honest with you. You've watched far more of the special than I ever did, and the only parts of the special I've seen is watching you talk about it because I didn't watch it at all. But is your mission to kind of save people from having to go through that themselves, or
no? I mean, I like to think in a way I'm promoting GD. Like if people disagree with me, they can go watch the special or any of his other stuff on their own and decide for themselves. I'm a fan of comedy. I talk about comedy I like. I talk about comedy I don't like. I talk about comedy I find weird or interesting. And GD falls into one of those categories.
Okay. Or are you a comedian yourself, or are you just a fan of comedy?
I'm not. I'm just a fan of comedy. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you also do a podcast? I'm not sure about this. I think. What are you laughing at with Carl Hamburger from? Who are these?
Close enough. So I do. I do. Why Are You Laughing? Which is a history of comedy podcast that I do. And the show I do with Carl is called "Who Are These Socials?" It's very confusing. They're all full sentences, so I get the confusion. But yeah, the show I do with Carl is "Who Are These Socials?" It's similar to his other podcast that I think you guys are featured on. Who Are These Podcasts? But we focus on social media on that show.
We were featured on that once, and he did. I think the word bashing definitely applies. But his criticism of me, what I thought was dead on accurate. He was talking about a guy who just wants to be a morning radio guy, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. I mean, my chances of ever getting like on a real radio station again, I was in the early '90s. I got banned locally here for using the F-bomb and without a 7-second delay. But so yeah, I think his criticism of me was dead on, and
I remember I watched the episode where they played you saying that, you reacting to that show, and I remember really appreciating that about you because I think there's a lot of people like that do a show, you know, to make themselves and their friends laugh or their co-host, whatever, and like, but you get you could mock my show pretty easily, I'm sure, but I like what I'm doing, so
yeah.
like, go ahead and make fun of it. I appreciated that you did that because there's so many people that react poorly. Like if you look at the guys that Who Are These Podcasts cover or that I cover or whatever, it's a lot of guys that get that first beating, that first being mocked, and don't react to it well. Like Stuttering John's a guy they talk about all the time, where they made fun of him once. And my theory on this is always like, if he either just didn't acknowledge it or kind of embraced it, none of the last 6 years of Stuttering John's career would have happened the way it did. But he got indignant about it. He got angry about it. He threatened them, and that just allowed them to pile on and keep going. So I remember what I do specifically. The reason I was, willing to do this show is because I was like, oh, this is a good guy. He seems like he has a good time.
All right. Well, thank you for that. But, I thought his criticism of Jackie Martling was way, way unfounded because he said this is how far Jackie's career has gone that he feels like he had to do the show. Jack, because he's a friend of mine, and he actually thinks he's doing me a favor. And he might actually be doing me a favor by being on the show, getting me a few more views because people are more interested in him than they would be in me. But so it's not that Jackie's career has fallen this low. It's that Jackie and I are friends.
Well, I think he was also making a joke. He's fucking around.
I got it that he was like really hung up on all these guys who used to be on Howard Stern or Opie and Anthony, and just felt like he was stalking them, like following those people around and seeing what they do. Because how else would he have found this program?
So people submit shows, and I think probably because of me talking about GD. Who you said he's here? I haven't heard him.
Yeah, okay. He's there.
I'm here. I was laughing.
So I think maybe because of me talking about GD or something, but people suggest podcasts to him all the time. Like they have Reddit and Discord where people submit suggestions. So some way or another, someone found your show and submitted it. I don't think it was him stalking Jackie Martling or anything. And I will say this about Carl too, and not everyone falls into this category, but I think Carl is similar to me in that we don't take it that seriously at the end of the day. You know, like and I could easily make fun of your show. It doesn't mean I hate you. You know, there's no malice behind it.
Yeah,
because I don't mind. I can take criticism. You know, I guess as well as the next person, or better than the next person, depending on who the next person is. But one thing I really don't like is when someone's criticizing the wrong thing, and that is like, for example, I recorded that show, the ones that you're doing, the one that you're like 1 hour and 3 minutes into, and you still have like 90-something minutes to go.
Yeah, it's a journey that we're on together.
Wow.
But I'm sorry, but I recorded that in 2016, and when y'all first started talking about it, I think y'all discovered it or came across it in 2020 or something. I don't know, but
no. So the way like YouTube labeled it, it was based on when you uploaded it to YouTube or something. So that's what.
Okay, that was the second. Yeah, okay, because the first time I uploaded it was in 2016, and I did not know that each email account YouTube had already set up a channel for it. I didn't know that. So I didn't know I had 3 YouTube channels.
Okay.
And so I'm uploading a video. I'm uploading videos from my comedy set. And then I go to YouTube, not knowing that I had more than one. So I logged in and I said, I swear I uploaded that already. And then it turns out that I had like some videos are uploaded twice on 2 different locations. Some's not loaded at all. And that special, before I redid it, had like thousands of views on Vimeo and YouTube.
Oh, really?
And I tried to consolidate everything to one place. And when I did that, everything got reset to 0.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So nobody's going back to watch it a second time.
Hey, we are, baby. We're keeping it alive.
Wow. Tom Myers is in the chat room, by the way. Shout out to Tom Myers. Tom caught, I don't know if he caught Tucker Carlson's laugh or somewhere, or where they just got together and said, we need to, monetize our laugh or something. But Tom and Tucker Carlson seem to have that same strange laugh.
Well, Tom's a good example of what I was talking about, where like I would make fun of Tom on my show, and then we had kind of an interaction where I thought Tom was being a dick to me or something, so then I really doubled down. And then Tom came on, did the show, addressed everything, all the questions we had for him and everything, and all of a sudden I like the guy, and now Tom and I are brothers, you know? So it really depends on how you handle the stuff.
Well,
like,
I have to say
the thing GD was just describing, where he uploaded the special 3 different times because he didn't know. Like, to me, that's very funny and very mockable. It's also a mistake I could make. I'm also an idiot. But like, if GD laughs about that, then there's nothing more to make fun of.
For example, the last thing you did when you're watching my that bit is actually called "Is God Laughing?" with GD on the GD Christ.
Yes,
that bit is actually called "Is God Laughing?"
Okay.
When y'all were breaking that down, there were like 3 or 4 things that y'all said that I was watching in the middle of the night. My wife was asleep next to me, and I was laughing so hard I was waking her up, and I felt bad. And I felt bad that I was waking up my wife, because she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, and I had to tell her, I said, I'm watching Blind Mike. And so she does not like anyone that takes anyone that takes a jab at me. She doesn't look at comedy like I do. I see it as publicity or, an opportunity, or, I don't take it personally. Not everybody's going to like what I do. Even if you genuinely didn't like me or my comedy, I don't care, because it's not everybody's going to get it. If everybody liked my comedy, everybody would have heard of me already.
And here's the problem with what GD is doing here is when we go back and try to finish his special, all I'm going to be thinking of is he was a nice guy. He laughed at my jokes. And that's that's all you need to do to soften the blow. You buttered me up, GD. You took the right strategy.
Look, you piece of shit bastard. Whoa.
Well, yeah, if I came on and you
talk, first of all, how dare you not want to hear the rest of my cat stories, okay? I will tell you now. 2 years after that, when I did another 90-minute show, and people were asking me, "Are you going to talk about your cats? Are you going to talk about your cats?" They love my cats, so don't you ever ever talk about my fucking cats again.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. There you go. There's the fire I was hoping for. But you would be amazed how many people like would see a clip of that and just go, fuck this guy, and get angry about it and just not handle it the right way. And then I would be so much more excited to keep talking about them. Now, now we have a job to do. We have to finish GD's special. So we'll probably talk about him again. But there will be more love in my heart when I think of this interview.
Well, actually, the next bit that you going, if you left off at the where the GD Christ thing is about to go on to the next bit, I'm not going to lie. At the time I wrote that was probably one of my favorite things I ever wrote. The next bit that you're about to go into.
And not to bash you myself, but here's my confusion with this thing.
Okay.
You put out a 90-minute special like a year into doing comedy. And I think that as a business decision, that's like, what? I mean,
that's a huge mistake. And I would say that deserves to be mocked, not just GD, but like I see people on TikTok and Instagram now, like young comedians putting their material out. And I think that's such a disservice to them because they're not ready to put stuff. I didn't realize you were a year in when you did that.
Yeah. Well, it's technically, I started writing it when I was like a weekend, an hour. I was an hour in.
Oh my God! How did you get anyone to go to the show?
Yeah.
Here's the deal, because I'm actually a very funny person. But this is what happened, Mike. I started doing comedy when I was 55. And I figure it's going to take me 20 years to get good enough that anybody's going to want to watch one of my specials on television, at least. Sure. By that time, I'm going to be old and dead. I probably won't even remember my stuff. So what I did is what I call documenting. What I'm doing is what I'm calling documenting my funny.
Okay.
So I'm putting it. I'm sorry, I think that's my.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I thought it was Steven. Yeah, it is Steven. I muted him.
Oh, okay. I thought it was me.
But it's not me. It's been happening all day.
So I thought that this was called like documenting my funny because I had people who wanted to see me, but I didn't have. Like I said, it was by the time I got to the point where anybody give a shit about me, I was going to be too old.
Sure.
At least in my opinion. So that's why I started recording all of my stuff just to document it. That's all.
Can I ask you why? I guess maybe you just answered it, but why 2 hours?
It wasn't meant to be 2 hours.
That is such an undertaking for a veteran comedian. Never mind a guy.
It was not meant to be 2 hours. It was. I had done that set a few times, and it was always like 86 to 90 minutes. Always.
Okay. That's still way long for, especially for a beginner. If somebody in the
all right. When I started doing comedy, I had one point of reference for comedy. I wasn't like a comedy fan. I had comedians I liked. Oh, what is that? I had comedians that I liked,
and that might have been it. Maybe it was Ron.
But my favorite comedian at the time was Christopher Titus.
Okay.
And so I went to go see him. I wasn't even a comedian yet. I just went to go. My wife got VIP tickets. I went to go see him. He and I got to talking afterwards. And just in us talking, he said, "So you're a comedian?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, you're very funny." I said, "No, I'm not a comedian." And so he, and he let people go on. And so we talked for like 20 or 30 minutes.
Okay.
Next thing I know, my wife signs me up for a comedy course. And so I did well. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing comedy. And Christopher Titus did like 90-minute shows. And so I thought that was what the norm was. And that if I was going to do a special, I should do a special like they do in the business. So I thought everybody did 90-minute specials because my only point of reference was Christopher Titus.
So this is Christopher Titus's fault. We'll blame Christopher Titus for this.
Yeah. Let me just for a thought experiment here. Take you out of it, and knowing what you know now.
You or him, you.
If we had one of our open micers who comes on this show and they've been in it 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever, and they tell you they're going to do a 90-minute special, wouldn't you think that's ill-advised?
No, I told you. Oh. And what did I tell you about? Here's the deal, okay? What did I tell you about new comedians? If you're a new comedian and you have no background in show business whatsoever, you're starting off at zero. But if you used to be a musician, or used to be an orator, or used to be a preacher, or someone who's used to being in front of the mic and entertaining people for long periods of time, now you're just changing from being a minister to a comedian, or you're changing from being a musician to a comedian, you still have some things that you're bringing to. You're not starting at square one.
True, but I would agree with these guys. When you start that early, no one should really be releasing material because you change over time, and your first couple years as a comedian is shitty work. A lot of it because you're figuring a lot of it out, unless you're in like one of those unique positions where you're just surrounded by like other fucking talent, like massive talent. But I completely agree. It's very cringy when you see an open micer post their set like, "Hey man, I did very good tonight." What's your level of good?
Yeah,
right. And I get they get. I'm sure they get excited. They want to put stuff out. They want reaction. They want people to like it. But it's just if they had the wisdom of someone older, they would know that's going to ultimately be a mistake because they're going to look back at that and regret. And even like good comedians take a year, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes more to work on their specials, and that's the guys that have been in the business for 15 years.
Absolutely. And I'm agreeing with everything you guys said. And the only thing I'm saying is that by the time I got to the point where people be interested in me, and I'm a prolific writer, I can write like
Absolutely. I said. That's true. I can attest to that.
I'm a very prolific writer. So where the average person is like, and also I'm not a comedian. I'm a humorist. So I'm not writing a set up joke. I don't do that. I'm a storyteller. And so what I do is a little bit off kilter. My sense of humor is a little bit off kilter, but also there's like a dozen different ways of looking at in my mind, when I write a set, I envision 12 different types of people in the audience. And I try to hit all 12 types of people when I do a long set.
You reminded me of Annie Corson, who was from Seinfeld. She's an 86-year-old TikTok sensation. She was on my program, and she was doing comedy club after comedy club after comedy club. And I made the mistake of calling her a comedian. She got really angry. I'm not a comedian. I'm a storyteller. Yeah, right. But you're performing in comedy clubs. That's the audience doesn't care. The audience doesn't care.
No, I understand, and but the audience just wants to be entertained, and that's my final goal. I'm just saying this for you guys who I thought would know the difference between like the setup punchline guy, the comedian, and the storyteller or the humorist. Like I say, a comedian, anybody listening who doesn't know the difference, I'm going to say it again. A comedian says funny things. A humorist says things funny. There. You got it? Okay.
Hey, the dude, I'm not sure if this is the dude from The Big Lebowski, but he's disappointed that you guys aren't fighting some more. I'm sorry, I wasn't really promising a fight. I just thought Blind Mike was going to make GD cry, which we've been like hoping.
I have no animosity towards GD. Certainly, if he has arguments he wants to throw up with me, he's welcome to. When you said the dog invited me on and said, "Do you want to confront GD?" and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to confront him about. I just think his specials are like there are a lot of. Can I ask you a couple questions about your special?
As many as you want. Honestly, as many as you want. Any question you want.
If you could explain a couple jokes for us. There's a couple we really got stuck on. The most recent was it was actually one of the subtitle punchlines, which I did say was very innovative. It was a very innovative thing you did in your special. Do you remember Day Job View?
Yeah, day job view. I remember saying it. I don't remember in the context. Day job.
So you say something French. You're talking about one of your coworkers, and then like he's kind of an idiot. You say something in French, and then you explain it, and then you put up on the screen Day Job View.
Yeah, because it sounds similar to deja vu.
Right, but there has to be another layer, right? Hold on.
Wait,
this is very important to me. I have to answer Deja Vu first. So there's not a second layer. It's just because it sounds similar to Deja Vu?
That's it. It's my day job, and this the view of my day job.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so it's the view of your day job. Okay. All right. That settles it for it. There was a big debate happening in our chat. So I wanted to settle that.
Yeah, I like say it's that bit. I kind of like that bit. It's like I said, it's one of my favorite bits. It was one of my favorite bits to write.
Yeah, Yeah, the subtitle thing is in a unique approach. It's kind of almost like you're mocking yourself. Like it's almost like a pop-up video where you're watching your own special and then pointing out the jokes or trying to add a tagline.
Tagging them, yes, it is innovative.
It's an interesting take. I don't think anybody.
I wanted to do something different. Okay, again, I didn't think a lot of people be interested in my DVD. Especially since in 2015, 2016, DVDs were on their way out, and I had no idea. I bought my own DVD press. I have my own DVD printer that I bought. So, great investment. I have a DVD burner and a
I don't
DVD
think they were
printer.
on the way out. I think they'd been out for like 6 years at that point.
Yeah.
Fuck both of you. So, so I did not know. So when I did it, I did not think, honestly, that people who, other than, I thought the people who watched it or who were there would probably want one like as a commemorative thing, like I was there when, just in case he hit it big, not that, so I wanted the release to be different. I wanted the people who were there to have a different experience than what, so they're not watching the same thing again. I wanted them to have something new to look forward to.
Okay.
And so the thoughts that I was thinking as I watched it, I just, put them up there just so it would just be something different for them.
Okay. There's one other joke that stumped us, if you could clarify.
Sure.
So I don't remember the context, so I apologize if I'm doing the disservice. So I don't know if you will remember just from this. But I believe the punchline was 6 down, Trump's Native American name.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one question first.
Okay.
Have you gotten to the parts where I talk about Obama and Clinton and Trump in the election?
I don't remember.
If you haven't gotten there, then the answer's in that part. Why that? Yeah.
Oh, cryptic. We're being cryptic about this. We have to
Yes,
basically.
very
You're saying, I don't know why anybody would be interested in my DVD. Now you're putting out a teaser where everybody has to go back to get the DVD.
I like that. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I just can't wait to watch you guys make
I will
out.
tell you so that when you come across it, you'll go, "Oh, okay, now." But
it all makes sense once we get.
As a matter of fact, one of your friends emailed me directly and asked me that directly. And I told him, I said, okay. And I gave him the answer. I said, this is against my belief system. I said, because the answer is in there if you watch it long enough.
I'm glad you didn't give it to me. I appreciate that.
Okay, so I told him what it was. And so I thought, I don't know if I thought he would have told you because he was reaching out to me on behalf of you, or at least he used your name.
I don't know who this is.
Oh, gosh. I don't remember their name, but I know that they were watching the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. And so I think he emailed me through that persona's account.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So
are you familiar with that?
Yeah, because he wanted to know if
I'm familiar.
He wanted to know if we were the same person. He wanted to know if we were the same person, I think.
Oh, interesting.
No, of course not.
And again, it's like breaking the fourth wall. It's like the people who know, and the people who don't know, let them figure it out.
Blind.
Yes. Very good.
So he wanted to know if we were the same person. And I said, you're asking me to give you information that I wouldn't even give to my own mother. But I did answer his questions. I answered all of his questions.
I appreciate it. That's very kind of you.
No, I said, I don't have look, my own mother didn't think I was funny. So and she
the more you talk about your mother, the more I like her.
Yeah. So if I grew up with a mother not thinking I was funny or talented or anything worth anything, and she knew me and raised me, you think I'm going to have a second opinion? I don't give a shit about what other people think of me.
Yeah, I think you do. And that's why I started the program. Listen, call Hamburger. I won't say that his criticism of me didn't hurt, but I'm not going to lose sleep over him. But I think anybody who criticizes me on anything, it hurts a little. You have to acknowledge it, and then
of course,
no, that's just it. It doesn't hurt. Like I had a woman that I was living with for a very long time, and we had an argument.
Nice.
A really vicious argument, and I hate arguing in front of the kids. I really hated it. but she goes off and she just lets it fly. And she just, every cruel, mean, nasty thing she could think of, she says, and I'm walking behind her on the steps, just begging for more punishment. It's just like, she's walking away from me and cussing me out. And then I think she turns around and looked at me and goes, and why are you still following me? And I looked at her and I said, I'm trying to figure out why you're trying to hurt me. That's all. It's not like, it's not like you're hurting me. I want to know why you want me to be hurt. That was the difference. It's not that, it's not, that's like if my wife.
Basically, what you're saying is you're in denial about your own feelings about this. All right.
No.
Fine. We can move on.
I have no idea what that had to do with anything, but it was a nice story.
Yeah, this is what we go through every day. He could talking about his mother, and then before you know it, he's making a point that you have no idea what it was.
What I'm saying is, I don't care if people cannot hurt me, but I am interested in their motives. So
I got you.
That's all. I just want to know if someone's trying to hurt me because they're trying to advance themselves, that's fine. But if you're saying things, you're not trying to hurt me. But like let's say your case, Mike, you're not trying to hurt me. Okay.
No.
So, but if you were trying to hurt me, I want to know, like, well, why? And that's just it. So when I watch your show, it's like, okay, what's his motive? And once I determine that you're not really trying to hurt me, you're just entertaining, fuck it,
Well, I appreciate that because I do make a conscious effort to not come across as malicious.
Well, the only thing I want is that the record to be straight. Like, I was really getting annoyed at the saying. Someone kept saying, these old references, these jokes are like 5 years old. It's like, fuck no, these are from 2016, 2016. And I would be yelling at the screen going, it's 2016.
I will make that correction. That's a fair criticism. I'll make that correction.
I think you already have on the last one that he sent me to. Yeah,
I did. Okay, all right, good.
Yeah,
you did. And so I was like, well, thank God he's listening. And then it made everything else a lot funnier to me. Because then I'm not, because now I'm like, okay, now he gets the context. Because before it mattered to me that you didn't get the context. That mattered to me that you didn't get the context. Not that you didn't like it or liked it, but like, no, it's 2016. That was a different person. That quarterback back then was so and so, not such and such. It makes a difference.
Yeah, I think when anytime you have strangers online critiquing your work in any way, particularly if it's mean-spirited or whatever, like, it's jarring. You're like, what the fuck? It's something that's never happened to you before. So you're like, what the fuck is this? And you want to change their mind or make them understand you or whatever. I think the more you deal with that type of stuff, you realize, oh, it doesn't matter. And also the person's probably just trying to be funny. Even like mean-spirited comments you get, it's more often than not that person trying to be funny and either failing or it just hit you in a sensitive area where you didn't get the joke.
Now, I've had 2 or 3 people from your chat room reach out to me and say, I watched your special on my own and you're pretty funny.
Really?
Now, again, this is
good. I'm glad to hear that.
Send me their contacts. I want to follow up with them.
Now, and again, this is like you said, this was my first attempt at a special. Now, as far as it going, you asked me why was it 2 hours? The guy who was supposed to like me every 15 minutes, I could pace it. 5 or 10 minutes in, we're already recording.
You went home?
We're already recording. 5 or 10 minutes in, I see him get up and run out. He has a family emergency. And
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I was going to say everybody in the audience had that same family emergency.
No, but he really did. Everybody else is just pretending to have a family emergency. He had a family emergency, and also in the sound thing. I want you in the room. They had mic'd the audience, and we did the sound check, and we said, okay, the mic would be best here. The audience comes in, and the room temperature rises, and the air conditioning kicks on. And the mic for the audience is right next to the vent for the air conditioning, so we couldn't use the audience audio. So the audience that you hear is being picked up by the cameras and my mic, the one I'm wearing.
Well, I said this the last time we covered you as well. That something I am amazed by, even for like a good comedian, it's stunning to be an hour and 15 minutes into this special, and the people that are there are still like engaging. Like you're getting laughs and stuff. Like I don't necessarily understand it, but it's amazing to me that they sat there for a guy that's been doing it for 6 weeks or however long you've been doing it. They sat there for over an hour and
Yeah,
fall
but
asleep.
I can't. I chalk that up to I know several people who've done this. That first special, if you're 6 weeks in and you're doing it, almost everybody in that audience knows you personally.
Okay.
It's not like they were just strangers buying tickets online for whatever, like Bill Burr or
Gotcha.
somebody. This was people who knew G.D. Fenderson, and it happened with my friend.
Now,
Vinny
actually,
I like
know
this.
that-
This is really Dog brought me on so he could confront GD. I have no
Well,
issue.
actually, now, I
He's
know-
getting his issues out.
Now, Matt,
Matt,
I would tell you, Matt. I know for a fact that 40% of the people there knew me, and the other 60% were dragged along.
All right, that's
okay. So 40% did know me, and even those 40%, about the room held 70 people. Okay, there were 70 people in the room.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
it seemed like a bigger place than that to have that.
Well,
kind
but it only held 60. We actually brought in 10 extra chairs for other people.
Wow,
for
packed house.
Yeah.
All right, so
And-
apparently he's not going to make you cry, and my hopes are, somebody's got to do it.
I know, man.
Sorry to disappoint you.
If I can find out a little bit about Blind Mike, because this is where yesterday or the day before, I was trying to find out some more information about you, and it seems like there are several Blind Mics out there. Several of them have podcasts, and one of them that may or may not be you, because if it was you, it was clean shaved and without the glasses. Was on Blind Date or first with the
yeah. That was a couple years ago. I was on Lauren Compton's show.
Wow. Did she reach out to you for that? She found you and said, "I want to have you on."
I'm a regular on the Kirk Minahan show, and a fan of that program tweeted something at her about me, and somehow it resulted in her and I going back and forth a little on Twitter. Then she was on Kirk's show, and then invited me down to Austin to do First Date. So
in that context, being legally blind is actually helpful in keeping you from not focusing on her fucking cleavage that she has.
That's what everyone said. They said I'm the first guest to not stare at her tits the entire episode.
I mean, to me, that's a plus, because I find like this is very distracting with her. It was like she's got to make the cleavage the star of the show. So that's an advantage to you. All right, so good for you. I mean, that's something, right? Did you get a big bounce out of the cleavage out of being on the show as far as attention on your show?
I don't know about that. I don't know how many people that watch her show would be interested in my show. I think I got some Instagram followers and stuff out of that, but it didn't change my life or anything. But it was cool. I'm glad I did it. It was cool to get to go down to Austin. I went to the mothership, got to see YMH Studios. Oh, that was a pretty cool experience. And she was very cool. I liked doing a show with her. She was that show was more fun than I expected.
Yeah, good for you, man. Now, have you ever been critical of any of those people that are in that, like Bert or Tom?
Well, yeah. And I actually get shit on because I say I don't hate Bert Kreischer. This is the funny thing too. You have to hate all the right people when you do this type of show. Where like I say, like I think Bert Kreischer's like fine. I think he's whatever as a comic, and people get mad at that because they really want you to hate him. But there is a lot of like Bert, Segura, Tony Hinchcliffe. Like I do I respect what they've done to a degree, but there's a lot of douchiness that is easy to mock for sure.
Yeah. I you know what? Bert is easier to mock because it's just like but I think all of them deserve the success they've had to some.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Hinchcliffe I think is actually a very good joke writer. I'm not. His personality is not for me, but I think
I get that, and he's a good roaster and everything. And here's the thing: this is what I was saying about GD too, where like I think I can make fun of Tony when there's a clip of him just being a cunt. Like there's so often where he's just being a little bitch to one of the guests for no reason. And like I think that's easy to mock. And I think you can say that while simultaneously thinking that he's built something incredible that I could never do. Like I'll get comments once in a while where it's like, "Oh, you're just jealous or you wish you were him." And it's like, well, I mean, sure, I wish I had the career he had, but I also think it's like mockable. Like there are things you can make fun of and still respect a person.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
Now, Mike, I have a couple. I have a couple questions real quick. One is that let me see if I did it right. Oh, the last segment I watched of yours when you were talking about the GD Christ bit.
Yes.
I think you started off by saying you reached out to your fans, asked who do you want to be roasted, and GD Fenderson was number one. Was that for real? And
I don't know if that's what I said exactly, but
it was close. It was pretty close.
So we have a few people that we cover sporadically. You being one of them. Richard Ojeda, Coach HP, a few like kind of obscure guys that we've found over the years that we like talking about. And when I said like, who haven't we talked about in a while that you guys are interested in? GD was up there. People love the GD segments.
So you're doing them a very good service. Then you should be saying thank you instead of.
I do say that. I do every look. I don't know if Mike reads my comments in the text because they're like so dated by the time I find out about these things, and I don't know if you get like an alert like somebody liked or.
They come up in the YouTube studio. I've seen them. I have seen.
Okay, so but I will say thank you for the attention. I mean, I do appreciate the attention. But then it's also like, but it's 2016. Okay, no, but aside from that, now I did reach out to you. Now I may have just used the wrong medium to do it. Try to invite you on my show, Done Way Past Funny, where we interviewed people and discussed the business, the art, the science, and psychology of comedy. And I never heard back from you, so I didn't know if I was reaching out to the right medium.
One of the other 5 blind mics out there that are doing stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that, but I'm familiar with Done Way Past 20. That's actually how I found you. The Tom Myers episode.
Right. The show has actually gotten a lot better since then, because back then that was like my 3rd show, and my co-host just became homeless. He was not homeless when we started. When we started this, he was not a good sign.
That's not a good sign.
But when we started this, he was not homeless. He had a good job, and we rehearsed everything, and everything went great. Then we started doing production. He became homeless and jobless, and he didn't want to quit the show. And I didn't have the heart to. So he was like doing Uber drives and trying.
I remember
to
that. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and so and then my wife was so angry at me because I was trying to, it's like, honey, he's down on his luck. I don't know if this is the only thing he's got going for him. I don't know. I don't want to kick him off the show. And my wife goes, "You get rid of him because I can't watch another episode with him on it. I just can't do it. I won't watch another episode with him on it." And so I gently said to him, actually I did. I kept him on for like 2 more episodes, but he never showed up. So I always talked about him like I was expecting him any minute, even though I didn't expect him any minute.
Right.
So I would say things like, I can't remember, was it Sugar? I said like, Sugar's running a little bit late. I think he's in the airport trying to find food or something like that. And that was it.
I do remember that. Yes, I remember this saga. I think I watched some of that.
Yeah. So, since he's been gone, and I've had the burden of do it myself, the episodes have gotten much, much better.
Oh, good. Yeah, if we can figure out a date, I'll do it.
I was the guest on that show, and I don't feel like the episodes have gotten. I didn't see
because you sucked as a guest.
I know that. No. That's what I tell everybody who ever asked me to be on their podcast. Like I am the worst guest. I mean, just check out some of them on there. It's just like,
are you a retard?
Yes, I am.
Now Matt said, "I'm not a comedian." I said, "Yeah, but you interview a lot of comedians, so I want your perspective of comedy through the eyes on the outside who talks to these assholes because we're all damaged."
I would say I'm the biggest fan. I mean, maybe Blind Mike is also because he got into this for his fandom of comedy. But I support live comedy, and this is a thing I do. I like try to get people to go out. Laughter and comedy is like one of the things that gets us through this fucking crazy existence. And if we don't support it, then you're just gonna have shitty open micers just trying to fucking get us through this stuff. You're empowering the wrong people. You got to go out and pay for tickets and go see good comedians every once in a while and support the art form. So now, Blind Mike, I appreciate you coming on and doing this. Blind Mike Project, you do that every week and it comes out on Sunday morning. Is that correct?
We do it live actually every Sunday morning. Blind Mike Project. So check that out Sunday morning. The show I do with Carl is every Thursday at 6 p.m. That's also live on YouTube. on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. I do a show called Why You Laughing? There's a bunch of episodes. You can go back to the archives. It's a history of comedy show. We talk about a different subject every week, a comedian, a special, a storyline, something like that. And I'm also a regular on the Kirk Minahan show. So check out all that stuff.
Can you send me all those links and I'll put them in on the on-demand thing? Obviously, you were a last-minute addition to this, so it's not in the...
blindmike.net is the easiest way to get. If you just go to blindmike.net, that's where all my links are.
Good. I'll put that in the description immediately as soon as we follow up, finish up here. I appreciate you coming on. You're based in Boston, right?
Oh, yeah, Boston area, yeah.
Boston. So that's, is the town still a comedy mecca, a place that great comedy is coming out of? Because obviously the history of comedy, and you know this, Boston is like the hub from where most of the really great comics came out of.
Yeah. Like in the 80s, there was that great underground comedy scene where a lot of guys were coming up. I don't know if that exists in the same way now. I think everyone moves to either New York, LA, or Austin now once they're ready. Or some places have started to pop up a little bit, like Nashville. But Boston doesn't really seem like one of those places anymore. But I know all the comics that I see, I go to a bunch of shows, whether it's comedy clubs or theaters, where all the comics that I'm a fan of say they love the crowds in Boston. So I think it's still a big comedy city in that way. I just don't know how many people I don't know how the open mic scene is here or anything like that.
I unfortunately know too many open micers. I mean, week to week we get a large percentage of people who've been doing comedy under a year coming on here. And
okay, that's cool.
That really gets my goat. It gets my goat if they've been doing comedy under a year and they have nothing to bring to the table.
Yeah,
honestly, if they've been doing comedy for a year, but they used to be a preacher, they used to be in a band, they have an understanding of entertainment. But if they're doing comedy because all of a sudden their friends tell them they're funny, a lot of us are funny with our friends or around the water cooler or the cafeteria.
That's right. You said you did it.
No,
conversationally funny.
But I used to be a musician and a stripper, so I was in the entertainment field before.
And when you stripped, you had lots of laughs, and you just figured.
Exactly, it was the next step. Although I was the kind of stripper where a Sherman Williams painter guy. I used to take the old paint off the wall. I didn't, and I danced when I did that. I was not, I was an exotic dancer. But the point is, I was in the entertainment industry. I didn't just decide to.
I'm not buying your premise there that it's just an easy transition from.
No, I didn't say easy transition. I said they have something to bring to the table. There's a difference.
I could not go and do stand-up comedy tomorrow or next year or within the next 10 years. And
I think he's just saying some of these skills translate from one, not saying you can do one because you can do the other, but because you do the one, it can help translate into having some comfort into doing the other.
Yes. I did a Dumb Way Past Funny interview with a gentleman named Tate Griffin. Before he did comedy, he was a wrestler for 20 years. And as a wrestler, he was the bad guy. Right. And he had to work the audience. He took all that hatred from the audience. And he says
the promos
right. After 20 years of being the bad guy in wrestling and having all that hatred, giving 3 minutes of silence on the stage from a joke that didn't work is like nothing. And I know four wrestlers. Well, 4 comedians that used to be wrestlers, and they just transfer that. They had something they could bring to it. They weren't just starting from scratch.
All right. We're gonna let Mike
go in,
we're gonna wrap up the show. No, I'm just teasing. It's just that I got a message that says, "All right, kiss already."
Yeah, I saw that.
No, I got a text message.
We disappointed a lot of people here and especially me, because I was really hopeful that Blind Mike would actually make you cry, or at least admit that you feel some tinge of pain when you hear negative things about yourself. I think this is
because natural. I know everybody. Look, I know not everybody's going to like me. If they did, I'd be famous already, and I never expected to be famous. That's why I started.
We're not talking about we're talking about the work that you do, and somebody somebody not appreciating it, that.
But I understand not everybody's going to appreciate what I do. That's what I'm saying. If they did, I'd already be famous. And I wouldn't be recording all of my own specials to document them so that when I'm in my 80s, I can remember them.
Yeah, but it's one thing to understand that not everybody's going to appreciate it, but then to hear somebody say exactly why they don't get it is it's just natural human response to say.
Those are his feelings.
Yeah.
But that's whatever Mike feels is what's going on in Mike's space in his head based on his experiences, his likes, his dislikes. They have nothing to do with me.
Fine. I think it has a lot to do with you. I hope you feel lots of pain.
No.
Anyway,
thank you, boys.
Thank you. No, I want to just Mike, if you could find any way to just kind of criticize my work, I could use the actual extra views here.
Okay. I'll go through it and see what I can come up with.
Yeah. I mean, I will feel hurt about it, but but also be very grateful for the extra 5 clicks I get out of it. Or something.
All right, fair enough.
And Mike, I think you've been punished enough. So if for some reason you do make it through the first special, you don't need to go through the next 3.
Yeah.
There's 3 more?
Wow.
Oh God! I know.
Yeah.
All right,
but they're all 90 minutes or less.
Oh my God!
90 minutes! Jesus Christ! All right. Well, thank you, boys.
Let's call them on stuff. Thanks for being here, Mike. You're
See you
great
guys.
sport, and thanks for and do please say something to hurt me.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
See you, boys.
All right, bye for now. Blind Mike, folks. He did show up. All right, good for him. He didn't make GD cry, so bad for him. But you know what? Now it's up to us to make GD cry. This has been a long enough show. We'll let people off the hook. We'll just turn on your radio and get the fuck out of here. How about that? Steven,
I really hate ending on a.
Let's go.
See, this is just me being anal. For my brain, we need to end on the 30 or the 0. We can't end on the 20. And it just that's just me being anal. That's nothing to do.
This is gonna make him cry. Let's just go.
Yeah. And besides that, Steven was already sleeping. I don't know if you saw. I woke him up. He was getting ready to snore there.
I wasn't sleeping. I was just upset that there was no name calling.
I have to say, I like.
I told you I was not. There was no reason for me. I wasn't angry. It was, I was getting attention out of it. I just wanted them to appreciate the fact that it was recorded in 2016. And my jokes reference were in 2016. That was my big thing.
Just to be clear, I never accused you of being angry. I never accused you of being angry or suggested that you should be angry. But I think it's just natural human behavior or natural human response that if somebody criticizes my songs, they're not. I don't take it as they're criticizing me. That's my work. That's my baby.
I understand that.
And at some degree, even if I don't think they're valid, I get hurt by it because whether they're misunderstanding it or whatever, they don't get it. There's a little bit of hurt there. Not like I'm going to lose sleep or cry over it, but I have to acknowledge, it's a little pinprick there. I felt that, but
that's for people, I guess, according to the psychologist I had as a child, I could have been a psychopath. They weren't sure that I was emotionally attaching to things the way normal people would.
It's just as simple as just. I think you're just being in denial that you feel it. You feel it. You feel it. Like when Steven sticks his little tiny dick in your face.
It registers, but I don't feel it as pain or anger or stuff like that. Not like that. I tell you, I just briefly. When I got struck by lightning twice. And when I got struck by lightning, my neurons took a while to it was just bizarre. If you poked me with a needle, it didn't hurt. It just registered that I was being touched for maybe 7 or 8 years before I actually got to the point where stabbing me actually hurt as opposed to feeling the pressure. And that's how it is. When people talk about my
Did it affect your morons too?
Yeah, morons and neurons. I'm going to try to make it up to the audience. On Monday, we will have Barry Katz and GD's ex-wife here.
And again, there will be no.
I don't know. The ex-wife.
Yes. And they're going to fuck.
whatever. And then we're gonna get Steven's ex-wife to throw him
It's
out
very
of the chair.
my relationship with Katz is very simple. He'll either ignore me, or tell me that he doesn't like what I'm doing, or he did say
dick jokes.
He did say
many dick jokes.
but he did say some really nice things about me, or a nice thing about me. Yeah.
Well, give me an example of something Barry Katz said that's nice about you.
He said this about my performances. He says I have rock star energy.
Well,
yes,
that's nice.
And I have that in writing. A text he sent to me.
Oh, well, you know what? I would put that on the website in quotes.
Yeah, it should be, and I keep forgetting because I keep forgetting he said it until I have to talk about it.
Yeah. Maybe he meant like Diddy. You have like a closet full of baby
Doesn't
oil.
matter. He didn't just look. Once you put it out there, and he had an opportunity to say other things, he just says, "I will say you have rock star energy." Plain and simple.
Barry Katz seems to be a little conflicted because you brought up the other day that he told Willie to quit smoking weed when Dave Chappelle is his most renowned client, who was, he built his career.
Maybe because it didn't hinder Dave Chappelle from doing his best work, and maybe in Willie's case, he thought the weed was stopping Willie from doing his best work. I don't know. I'm not just a hypothesis. I can't speak for him.
What keeps Steven from staying awake?
I am, and I hate to. There's a guy
I'm not asleep.
There's a guy in the DC area that people just worship. They fucking worship him because Dave Chappelle credits him for Dave Chappelle being funny. This guy, his name is Tony Woods. I say that because
still have people watching after 3 hours.
Yeah.
So Dave Chappelle, as a matter of fact, honored Tony Woods at some award he got. He mentioned Tony Woods or brought him up on stage or something like that. And the people around here love Tony Woods. They just worship the ground he walks on. And when I'm in a room with him or when I was on stage with him, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't feel it. I just think of an old washed up drunk. And I'm not saying he's lost it. I'm not saying he's not. I think he has funny moments, but I think the funny moments that he has, people are like crediting him in because they say, that's the guy that helped Dave Chappelle be Dave Chappelle. He must be good. He must be funny. It's like, no, he's funny-ish. He's lost. Now, he may have been great. He may have been great at one point. But the one I see now drinks too much. And he's not that, I can see traces of goodness. I can see traces of a really good comic. But I think it's being hindered by the alcohol consumption. But people
mannequin pussy.
People worship him so much. I don't think anybody's going to say to him, "You need to sober up, man. You were so good. You could be so much better. Just sober up."
Yeah, Alcohol is different than weed. I would say that.
Well, I'm just saying it's.
Alcohol has ruined many careers, many promising. Lots of musicians I know who were great musicians, but would get drunk on the gig and just couldn't work. They just can't work.
Now somebody out there is going to send it to Tony Woods, and I'll never work with him again because we've only been on the stage together as open micers. We've never. He said I could be on one of his shows, but he's like all the other guys. They say it, but they don't put me on their shows because they don't want the fucking competition.
They can send it to him, but he's not gonna watch 3.5 hours of it.
So, bottom line is, I like Blind Mike here today. I like him. He's a good guy. I'm not gonna I'm a fan of Carl Hamburger. I know he does the show with Carl, and I wouldn't ask him to speak for Carl, but I think Carl definitely that comes from a negative place where he wants to just bash people. I don't know that for a fact, but I definitely get that from the vibe of who are these podcasts or what garbage podcasts or whatever he wants to call it. I just feel like his motivation is, and I would love to have it. I might call to come on the program. Maybe I should have said that to Blind Mike. Can you suggest this to call?
If you don't mind sending me Mike's email, the one that you used to reach him, so that
I just went through Twitter, the DMs on Twitter.
Oh, what's his face? Steven has his phone number. Can you text it to me, Steven? Okay, then don't. I don't care.
Steven's sleeping.
Yeah, let me make sure he's okay with me giving out his number, but it should be okay.
Okay, well, yeah, don't worry about that. You said through Twitter?
Yeah.
No. I don't give out people's numbers without that person's permission.
I can try Twitter. I don't use my Twitter account very often. I have to look up my login information and shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end this thing because it's
Yeah,
already
I asked him.
All right, we're out of here. Don't forget to turn on your radio. We'll be here Monday. Our guest will be Barry Katz and GD's ex-wife, who I don't even know her name, but she's already booked.
I don't even know where you're going to find that body.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
Fucking liar! How you doing, Norm? Turn on the radio. All around the world. Turn on the radio. All around the world. What you wanna do, baby? It's on you, baby. Walk around that beat. What you wanna do, baby? It's on you, baby. Walk around that beat. Turn on the gotta walk around, man. Who the hell are you? All around the world. Walk around that beat. Don't worry. No matter what, don't worry.
Listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me.